We're going to throw it to the big boys. You and
Absolutely.
I back tomorrow.
Bang. Same time, same bad channel.
Ooh, the bad channel.
Fed minutes.
Fed minutes are going to be out in a second, and we'll get to see how the dissenters were talking. I haven't heard anything yet in our ear, but remember, it's not this is not like a rate decision where it's like, hey, we didn't do anything on the rate, so we dropped a quarter point or whatever it might be. It's just people have to parse the minutes, see what might stand out, and the market will try to react to it if there's anything to react to. We can always keep an eye on the Fed rate tool, just an off chance that jumps around, although it didn't really do much today. It's still in that 85%
Actually, I didn't even look at it.
range. So everyone trickles back in.
What's up, everybody?
V-shaped recovery on a lot of things.
Recovery.
Yeah, it's just that's just how the market does sometimes. It was violent to the downside, violent to the upside. I'm just in AMD right now, a couple of times here off of a distinct level. And maybe if it traces into VWAP, that would make sense. It wouldn't be the first reversion that it's had today, that's for sure. As the chips, crypto were all weak early and then caught monster bids. That move on ETH was incredibly impressive. Yeah, I have some thoughts on whatever. I have to double check to see exactly what it was they were talking about, this ETH ticker. But I found it
Ethereum machine, I heard.
Ethereum machine, where...
Yes, I have no idea what that is, but I will sell that IPO.
Well, it's just oddly enough very close in ticker to the ETF. Immediately. Which seems like the kind of thing that was... yeah, I just feel like sometimes you're trying to trap people into thinking they're buying something they're not.
I mean, look at the bullish. Maybe I should change this thing.
Well, it's like bullish, but not the same.
What is bullish down 100%?
Like if it starts ETH anything, you might be under the impression, if you're lazy, which you shouldn't be, that you're literally just buying a straight ETF, which would be directly correlated. And maybe the exchange should not. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they allow.
Because at the end of the day, you should be reasonable and you should do your own diligence. And you're not here to hold people's hands. I find it kind of funny that that's what the ticker is on that.
All right, all members, almost all participants at Fed's July meeting viewed it as appropriate to maintain the interest rates. Almost all. So we already know that. Yeah, I feel like I think there was 1 or 2 dissents. We saw we sort of So we already heard about that. So I'm not kind of like puff pass on that one. And we're just hearing it in our ear. Sharif will, if there's any huge highlights, we'll talk about it. It's just getting read, and here it is right here. Like. It's all over the news now. I mean, all over anything that we're following here. It will take time to have more clarity, higher tariffs affecting inflation. So whatever, I don't want to just read all that. We'll review it as it comes through right now. But look what's happening right now. Bang! Right there, another face slapper happening. As you come back live and we get some of this trading going one more time for you. Here it is, man. You came on live and I was short Google. It was just went right back into where we were, and now there's the drop down there for GOLGLE. Nice move to the downside there for Google. We were messing around with Palantir. The big trade for me that brought my net to highs was this. Right when we left you guys, this is literally 11 o'clock. You know, we were battling with the TQQs. We nailed that, man, right back to the 200 period moving average. That was about $2 to $3 straight there. Good trade. We should have probably been short that. I did choose to go short on Google. We did trade on the midday. We were shorting Palantir, and I was like, what in the was up with this? This was a huge move that happened almost immediately. We tried to reshort it when it came back. We got stopped out. Then we went long, stopped out there on the break. But here comes Palantir retracing back north, south side right there. I was like, Palantir is going to get green, man. And I don't know, like that bottom of 142. Wow. The buyers came in, bought that thing up $12.
The meaning of life.
What? Yeah, that's always something for you, isn't it? I think you might be right about that 42 there. So there it goes, straight to the upside goes Palantir, now trying to fade back a little bit. We did cover some more. I'm going to get some more out right now, but some 92s here if we can on Google. Give it to me. There it is. So a little bit more outs there, just taking 30, 40 cents. We did get 55 on the low, but yeah, that's it, man. Fed minutes just came out. Like I said, if there is any sort of bullet points there, Sharif, we can throw to you
nothing crazy
at any time. But yeah, nothing. Oh, you ready to go? Okay, let's go over to Sharif then.
Oh, okay.
I just realized I'm not in my headphones.
Yeah, here we go. We're trickling out, guys, some information coming in about the Fed minutes. So here's what's being said. Noted it would take time To have more clarity on the magnitude and persistence of higher tariffs effect on inflation, participants assessed the impact of tariffs had become more apparent in goods prices, but overall effects on the economy, inflation remained to be seen. Some participants, guys, said it would not be feasible or appropriate to wait for complete clarity on the tariffs effect on inflation before adjusting monetary policy. Several noted as well concerns about elevated asset valuations. The majority saw inflation risk outweighing the employment risk. Very interesting story there. The majority seeing inflation risk more important than the employment risk. Many noted as well full effects of tariffs could take some time to digest. So we'll keep reporting to you guys on this as we go, as the headlines come in about the Fed minutes. But here's a look at all four major averages, guys. They're all in negative territory with the triple Qs. Top left of your screen down 1.06. Bottom left is the IWM Russell 2000 ETF down 0.75%. Top right is the SPY, the ES ETF, down 0.6, as well as the Dow Jones ETF there, the DIA, down 0.18, the best of the four major averages on the day. But the first ticker, as decided by you guys, PLTR, and what a recovery off the low there of around 142.5, breaking through that 150. We'll get Sean to look at this a little bit more, but the headline sending this one lower was a short report by Citron Research comparing this one to Databricks and basically saying Palantir's a $40 stock at a $100 billion valuation.
Yeah, good luck getting this thing at 40. Yeah, so I don't blame any of the short sellers to come into this. We've talked about it over and over again. Neil and I have been talking about this for a long time. When you have PEs that are astronomical, you are going to get questioned into your valuation. And not only that, it's just funny that we now, and I think Neil mentioned something too about this before, it's like now we're finally starting to worry about PEs and we're finally starting to worry about Citron and all that and the $40 price target. Like, give me a break. The guy dropped this up here. It's just now being rehashed once you see these kind of plays taking place, right? So I don't know. I'm not overly worried about the stock. I said yesterday, we even had Brian Shannon on, that this was probably a good buying spot right there into the 50 period moving average. It was cracked pretty hard there today, but we only went back into mid-July. I mean, to have bought that bottom would have been absolutely fantastic, but I don't know who's doing that. I think it's very difficult when you are catching a falling knife. We tried it many times, and it was actually a positive for a minute there until the last one, which finally broke through at 144. You can only chase this thing for so long. And right now, I would leave this alone. Let it settle down just a little bit more. The violence that is in this name, I mean, it's going to do 200 million shares today. That's incredible for a $155 stock. That's like Nvidia territory. So we know that there's a lot of traders on this name, and I would just sort of let it settle down. I mean, I think it wants to get a little lower. We're underneath the 50-period moving average. We're nowhere near VWAP right now, which is at 150. So I think if you can come back into those levels, then it's a buy. But yeah, you got to like Palantir on that rebound there. I mean, thankfully, we were down 10%, which that might have helped spark. I don't know if that's exactly 10%, but it was 9 and change last time I looked at it. And that might have helped spark that move back up the short sale restriction. But, oh no, it still says N right here. So maybe, I guess
didn't think it got there.
I guess it didn't get short sale restricted, but it got 9 and change for sure. It got 9 and change yesterday as well. So yeah, the bull market is still intact on the market. It does seem to be pretty scary sometimes when you're sitting there. And I told you guys, like, don't log in and check your account or anything like that. But if you did that at like 10 o'clock, do it again now.
Well, if you're going to check it when it's down, you should check it now.
That's what I'm saying. And maybe there's something there now for you. But yeah, good hold there for anybody that had it. Was a rough day on Palantir. And I think that I've changed my strategy, and that is no more catching falling knives. And if you do, you just want to get out as fast as possible and stop going back to the well. We were lucky with it with Palantir. We could have got burned a lot more, and we didn't. So thankfully, we're able to scalp out of that position there for PLTR. But still red on it on the day, but made a little bit back during that push. So that was always a good sign.
Yeah, that's all you're ever trying to do. The move, it's wild how big the move was through the 50-period moving average, like a hot knife through butter. On a weekly, this felt like a push down through there. I was eyeballing 133. That's the level I would have been more interested in. Just very quickly, before we get into Palantir, AMD just did AMD was okay. I was playing a trend break on AMD, and we'll get there in a quick little second, but I got to show you break even stop. It couldn't get to the volume weighted average price. this was the trade. Just a trend break from VWAP, standard entry, couldn't get to VWAP. Once it gets here, I move my stop to break even. Don't want to be fighting these V-shaped recoveries, and Palantir feels like the same thing. You got to keep in mind when this happens, like the offsides that you're dealing with, if this breaks out the top at 156, like I'm saying it chuckling because there's shorts galore that not only want to take profit on the most recent move, but that engage today or maybe added today on a stock like a Palantir, that if you start breaking out the 156 and this threatens to go green, because it's still a few dollars from going green. If this goes green, oh, you know what, could break loose. So I'm not really thinking, like if I was thinking short, I'd literally be sitting in it right now in Palantir. Like if I was gonna think about the short trade, bang, bang, and then it just broke the trend, I just like the AMD a little bit better. I just feel if you're, with Palantir, when it does a V-shaped recovery, it's asking a lot to try to fight the trend in the afternoon. You know, and we're still technically in a bull market. We were asked this morning, and someone, and I'm gonna say this now so that it's easier when we're talking about all these other different names. We're asked this morning, someone's like, oh, would you buy the dip? There's a big difference between, and we'll talk about Nvidia, buying a dip in a day trade this morning, which I did, buying a dip in your long-term account where you're like, oh, this is where I want to buy if there's a market correction, right? So to me, I didn't think Palantir dropped far enough. I don't think the market dropped far enough for that. But when you get these trends down, you do want to look for spots as a day trader during lunchtime to try to buy the dip. And the next name we're going to talk about was an example of one.
All right, guys, just before we get to NVIDIA, I want to give you a little bit more from what's coming out from the Fed statement there. So here we are. So some of them saying real GDP projections for 2025 through 27 was actually similar to the one that they prepared for the June meeting. And several participants said that the current target range for the federal funds rate may not be that far above the neutral level. Very interesting there. The neutral level, obviously, between the actual rate of inflation and the current interest rate, as well as some participants saying the consensus statement that they would be designing to be robust across a wide range of economic conditions. And they're noting here that the policy committee was close to finalizing the changes to that consensus statement as part of their framework review. So we'll keep tabs on that and report to you on it. Let's go on to the next topic. Nvidia, bit of a tougher day for Nvidia, obviously, as well as most of these semiconductor names, but KeyBank Capital maintaining, guys, their overweight rating on Nvidia and bumping that price target from 190 to 215.
All right.
Yeah. Look,
a week, I mean, go ahead, but it's a week away from earnings.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. Like, if Nvidia wasn't at earnings already, like, if Nvidia had earnings already, I think it'd feel a little bit differently about maybe the reaction today. Like, we want to see what the number is going to be like, and some names in the group are going to be waiting to see how blown away we get and whether or not we're going to be able to exceed some expectations. I'm expecting some quality things to be said by Jensen when with regards to being able to sell in China and get some cash out of that. And as far as Nvidia goes, this afternoon I'd be looking more to short pops on chips. That being said, it was a good trend break. I liked it to VWAP, and when I look at this, like right now, it just lost the trend from VWAP. Well, sorry, I just lost the trend from VWAP up here. That's poorly drawn. And I'm favoring shorts this afternoon. I'm going to try to get back into AMD, but it just feels, we knew we were top heavy at that 185 level. And even this move, it doesn't quite V-shape it. You don't get back to prior support. You sell underneath that. To me, that means you didn't really break out and break anybody's back on this down move. It's still structurally sell in the mid-180s, break down in the mid-175s, and then you're still weak underneath 175. So the chips, to me, aren't out of the woods, at least today. Anything can change when these guys report. But I have to admit, it just feels like the chips got a little bit top heavy. When they stopped reacting positively to some good news, you know, we thought it was good news that they're going to be able to sell in China. I don't think we got enough out of that, considering that's adding a few $1 billion to the sheet there for Nvidia and to AMD. But AMD 164, I want to short. Nvidia, don't really have an entry because I'd rather trade this one to the short side.
All right, so yeah, good levels there. We wrote down earlier today 166.50. Of course, this is the sticky note. It's out every single day. We said 166.50 short if we got it, or wait for a 164 short break. So if you were watching the morning show, it's still going to be 95% of my net today is this trade. So there's 166.50, man. So that was, for me, a good idea. That doesn't always work out like that, but there's 166.50. Just came right back into the closing price. We always talk about how those prices are the ones that matter. Well, there's lots of prices that matter, but we like that level. We're able to take advantage of that initial move up and then whoosh to the downside. And we tried to go long there as well. We gave a little bit back, but then we made some money back in other spots, and we'll talk about that, including what's happening right now with Google, now 50 cents in the money. But just trade the weak names. And, you know, again, like, rocket science or not, I don't know. But look where we bounce again, like off that same wick level. Like, I don't know. We talk about zooming out and trying to be smart about things, but AMD today was definitely down to that exact level again. So we should have, we did good to cover it all. We didn't have any idea how much of a move this was going to be. We left so much money. I was even telling this to Marissa. I left so much money on the table there with AMD and this Nasdaq trade at the bottom. That is ridiculous. But hey, man, we're happy to be here in trading. That's a life of a trader. I know Neil just went over Nvidia. Basically, Nvidia is a week today. Join us for, you know, a huge watch party. That should be a lot of fun. Mark it down in your calendars right now for basically, I don't know how many hours are in a week, but if you go that many plus 2 more, and then you'll be right there at 4:15 with Nvidia earnings coming on Wednesday. So that should be a lot of fun. Join us next week and mark it in your calendars. The top of the market, hey man, we just made new all-time highs 4 days ago. Then all of a sudden now today we're wondering what happened to all of our money. Don't panic. There's lots of trading to come here, and I think Nvidia will tell a good story.
I am choosing to panic.
Yeah, you just sold everything?
Yes. No.
All right, good move, good move.
I sold absolutely nothing.
Yeah, me too. I didn't
wait a minute.
I logged into my account looking to buy stuff, actually.
So that's not true, because remember yesterday I was like, I should have trimmed more of SoFi, because I didn't sell any.
Right.
Actually, with Robinhood next, I can probably talk about it then, but it doesn't matter. I said this morning that I wished I had sold some SoFi after earnings.
Right.
And I didn't. And then I wished I had sold it yesterday. So I'm like, okay, well, I just wanted to trim some. So I took 10% off of SoFi during lunchtime on my walk. Which is cool to be able to do on your phone. I love it. It's like, hey, going for a walk and I'm on Blur.
I like to
some
yeah, see, that's the thing.
You couldn't do that back in the day. I'd be in front of my computer and
yes.
Anyways,
that's funny.
Technology.
Erie Pages, I just have to tell you something. My wife is like watching right now. She watches all the time. So anything I say on the show is already a wash. So yeah, that's fine. We're good. She's like, don't tell your wife you missed out on some money because it might come up again. But it's fine. She knows what's good, man. I tell her the good trades, the bad trades, everything. What else are we going to talk about?
Marissa.
What else are we going to talk about? She said she likes the hair, so thank you very much for whatever hair I have left. We went to Halim, the barber shop.
What up, Halim? Nice fade
today.
In there.
Yeah.
I badly need a haircut.
He didn't put the hair plugs in yet, though, so that's coming through. Getting more white here. I'm too worried about these markets, man.
I guess I need the plugs.
Getting some. Hey, man, plugs are popular these days.
Plug power.
We know people that have them, and it's been a success story for them.
The gray in the arm. Anyway.
You know, if you have like the perfect line across there,
perfect line.
I feel like that's the. Yeah, there we go.
Well, I mean,
we got the widow's peak. Is that
there's a line. It's just, I mean, it's moving back. I mean,
it's you know, it's because we're traders. It's like a market.
Running away.
It's like goes up and goes down. Right there. Exactly.
The cul-de-sac.
The cul-de-sac. Yeah. So you're just looking for that perfect straight line, and I think we all know where we're going with this right now.
Bald.
Shout out to Turkey.
Straight up.
All right. Let's go back over to Sharif at the desk and talk about Robinhood.
Yeah, Sean, this was a good headline. Obviously not a good day for Robinhood, but they are launching pro and college football prediction markets just in time for the football season, guys, as they look to expand their product offerings, not just from equities and crypto, but into the sports betting market.
Peter Ryder. See, that's why we talk about these things, man. We're just, I try to say it all the time, we're just average dudes sitting here having some fun and trying to make some money. Talking about Robinhood, I know my guy over there, Joey Options over there has some Robinhood in his account, and that's a ching, as you can see right there. As he, that's the thing you do when you're a kid and you're in a bus or whatever, and you pass a truck and you're like, go, you know, blow the horn, things like that. But yeah, today you might not like too much Robinhood. Today it's down 4 4%, but
Not bad,
like we
though.
said, the ebbs and the flows of this market. And if we're going to look at Palantir, or sorry, AMD, and talk about that bounced almost right on a key level, I think you're getting pretty close right now. That if you do like Robinhood, I know Neil and I have talked about trying to get into this name at some point. You've just pulled back now 18%. And that's kind of easy math, because there's 118, and that wick down there is 99. So you're giving yourself a pullback of a little bit more than 18% right there, battle back another 3 off of that. So, hey, we talk about stocks being in bear territory when it's 20%. So you're $1 away from this being bearish all of a sudden. Just how fast names can change and how they can flow back and forth. So we just got to be careful with this name. It's obviously a high levered name to the market. Fintech names. Today we got Upstart got a upgrade. So not Upstart's small business finance and things like that. It's not the same at all as Robinhood. Just saying that some of these names in the fintech kind of space do have a lot of volatility associated with them. And I think Robinhood, I still think it goes a bit lower here and touches that 50-period moving average, which was what, 95, or what did I see this at? Right there, 96, 97. I feel like those are good areas, and then you may eventually bounce somewhere around here, $91, $92. So yeah, still very positive on Robinhood. You already talked about SoFi a little bit, so two names that are very similar, and then we got to go to Neil in 1 second, but we also had new holdings today. This was one where I'm just going to have to keep in the memory bank, because when you get upgraded and then the market tanks, maybe go over to these names to look for battle backs. Like a lot of stocks battle back, but this name again goes right into yesterday's close. And remember, we had an upgrade. So if you're going to be upgraded and it makes any sense, you probably deserve this kind of a bump, especially if the market starts to go. So good trade there on new holdings, Brazilian SoFi. As I heard that one time, Neil, and now I'm always saying
yeah, exactly.
And it could have been absolutely nobody of any value, like Vikram or something, that says this, and then the next thing we know,
shots fired. That guy crushed his burpees at the draft.
He did. Wow,
so
100 burpees.
We take some business in a second, but we always harp on one dude in our pool. He's always losing a bunch of bets. And last year he had to do a cold plunge at the draft for, forget how long. Mm-hmm. He had to do 100 burpees, like real burpees, no CrossFit nonsense. It was like just straight up good form. And he destroyed them. And we're just like, what?
Then he did like 4 sets of 25.
Yeah, he was just, I'm like, what the heck happened? This was a dude that wasn't the most athletic brother when we were in high school. And we're in our 40s now. So I mean, hats off.
Now he's actually now it looks like
he's in better shape now than I think he was in high school, which is that's an impressive.
Okay,
what's also impressive, I did just get into SoFi. We'll get here in a quick little second.
Covering some Google.
VinFast has delivered over 35,800 EVs in Q2 2025, marking a 172% jump from last year.
Dang.
That brings their first half total to more than 72,000 EVs, up over 220% year over year. With stronger sales usually in the second half, they're on pace to easily double 2024's 97,000 units. They're also crushing it on two-wheelers. And with nearly 70,000 e-scooters and bikes sold in Q2, that's up 432% from a year ago. And with gas-powered two-wheelers being phased out in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City by 2026, the growth potential looks huge. You can find them on the Nasdaq under ticker VFS. I don't know why I have Snapchat up, but I wanted to mention one quick thing about SoFi. SoFi broke this trend from the volume-weighted average price. I'm short. The stop is at about 22.25. I want to look for a VWAP retracement. SoFi dumped like Robinhood dumped, but I just feel like these have more to go. SoFi didn't come anywhere close to the 50 period or the $20, and this has been it was a triple up. If you go to the peak, it was a triple up from the April lows, and from its consolidated bottom down here in the time that it took the 200 period moving average, when that got reclaimed, you're long somewhere in the sevens. That's more than a triple up. So I think some profit taking made some sense here. 20 seems like a reasonable stop if we need a deeper pullback, and maybe not as good as Robinhood, but it had a good run on its own. Little surprised that this name couldn't get going a little bit more today, especially on a market down day. I would have thought this is a perfect opportunity for Hertz to squeeze, but it didn't.
All right, guys, Hertz next. They had a headline today with Amazon. They're going to be selling some of these cars on Amazon Autos, and the market initially liked it quite substantially, up over 10% at the highs, but now breaking down with the overall weakness in the market to about 3% or so. Keep your eye as well on Carvana, who's trading down on that news, as well as CarMax, guys.
You might have just heard me say just before Neil had that read there that I was covering some Google. Google just went right down into the 200 period moving average. So we'll take 80 cents or 90 cents, cover some at 35s there. So good little 37, sorry. So a good cover there. At the end of the day, I think anyways. Well, I don't know if it's good or not, but we'll just wait to see what winds up happening right now with Google. Hopefully it gets a little lower for us, but I am out of, I only have 10% left, so pretty weak trade there. Yeah, you mentioned that. I was the same way as you with Hertz, and I think what Sharif just said there, I'm always nervous when people get involved with Amazon because if you are the other way with them. Making a deal and trying to start to sell some of their fleet off here on Amazon. Now, I kind of want to read this story again, but, I don't know why it's not higher. Like, Hertz has a 45% short float. And I know that that's scary right there as it went up to $6. But the fact that you're, like, only up 3% on this kind of a story seems...
What's up with that?
Seems like, what's up with that? So I don't know. Hey, Ramin, how you doing? But yeah, it seems a little off to me that we are only up that 3%. So I would say this is a day 2 or day 3 play. You guys can mark it down, whatever, at me, all this kind of stuff. I think Hertz goes tomorrow. I think today there just wasn't enough attention on this. 35 million shares. Palantir's doing 200 million. Like a $5 stock with all of this talk behind it should be huge, right? I'm surprised that Hertz today.
And it's a perfect setup. It's literally bouncing off the 200 period moving average. Like, what more could you ask for a temporary bottom? Technically perfect. Prior high, $5, 200 period moving average. And when this is what annoys me about this thing too, it bounced off it during lunchtime. So like, okay, well now it's definitely got to go, and it's right back at that same low. So I guess the squeeze, you know what? It turns out that you can't go squeezing when everyone's trying to dip buy Palantir. Like it's trouble because of the eyes were buying the dips on other stuff, and as much as you're holding, look at these dips. It's holding out that 200 period on the daily. This low is holding, which is great, but where's the follow through? All lunchtime, like where's it breaking out this 570 to get through VWAP and do something for us? So unfortunately, that, like Sean said, it probably has to wait for a day. But as long as that 200 period, this $5 level gets respected, then don't sleep on it. Because I can't tell you how many times you look at something day 1, you're like, oh, it didn't happen. And then you ignore it day 2 or day 3. And then on day 4, you're like, oh, crap. Remember that stock that it happened on, this happened to me on Figma the other day. That's why I'm going to go to the Figma chart. Remember how we're like, oh, look, the breakdown of the all-time low on Figma. Oh, it didn't happen this day, and it didn't happen that day, and it didn't happen that day. So for 3 days in a row, you're looking at it, it doesn't happen. You don't look at it on the 4th day, and Figma does this at the open yesterday. That's why you can't ignore Hertz for the next couple. As long as it holds that support, the squeeze potential is there. And I was like, to not be in Figma the day that it broke when you're looking for it for a few days in a row. You don't want that to happen to you necessarily on Hertz. I think it's a good story. I don't think it's great for Carvana. CVNA, and regardless of what happens the rest of today on Carvana, I shouldn't, you know what, that's not fair to say. As long as Carvana is underneath 336, I think this is a continuation short tomorrow. Ends up getting to that level and dropping once, it's trying to do so twice. Not a positive story for them if there's going to be any more competition when we're already in the midst of a pullback. That company, that's not something that bounced off the 250 period moving average. That's a stock that lost it today and has not regained it yet.
Guys, here is a video of Tesla FSD on the streets of Tokyo. Yes, Tesla is testing out, I can't see the video, okay, all good. Testing out full self-drive, the first time ever out in Asia. They're testing it in Japan, in Tokyo, so good look for them. That's the headline right now, but it's not a good look for Tesla on the day, guys, down 2.87%.
Yeah, not just looking at Microsoft 500. Someone in the chat talked about that. I haven't looked at too much Tesla today. I know it had a big move
I had
off the
one
open.
trade.
Yeah, you had a good short.
So it did a flat bottom break on Tesla. It lost the 200. Like multiple things happened this morning. It lost the 200 period on a flat bottom break at 27. It lost the 50 period, which it's still underneath. But you have to remember one thing for Tesla. It has been inside this range, like the wedge. It's broken the top of the wedge. It's broken the bottom of the wedge, but it hasn't really closed above or beneath. Right? So we've been going back and forth. And look at where we bounced today on Tesla. Right at the post earnings view. Go right back to the June earnings and just draw a line of best fit on the trend. That is exactly where it bounced today. We can't go over it. We can't go under it. So we're going to have to go through it, or at least until we break one way or another on Tesla. So I like the short because it was a flat bottom break at 327. Had it gone back there, I think you shorted again. At some point, this is going to close above or beneath this trend line, and on that day, it's going to be a trend, or it's just going to be the first stock on my list. That hasn't happened yet. So you just got to take these inside moves here on Tesla until we break away. Don't know what the catalyst is going to be to have it go in either direction at this point with Tesla, but it almost doesn't matter. The stock can't compress forever, not a stock like Tesla. And when it gets out of there, there's going to be like a 10% day within a couple of days, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of stock right now that are underneath VWAP. The market's underneath VWAP. I feel like the short, I mean, we're short right now. We're fruit salad time?
What? That's been a minute, bro.
That's a little random.
You can't, the thing is, you can't have fruit salad here. Well, you can still, but the flies and everything that are everywhere make it
You have
pretty,
to just cover it. I always cover mine.
Yeah, but I go in the kitchen and I see them everywhere. But
I get to it first.
You get to it early, but
I get to the fruit salad when it still has the
yeah, that's a
wrap.
smart move for sure. We're still $1 in on Google right now as that's starting to come back in just a little bit. But no, what I was going to get on Tesla, you're at a key level here at 320. So, that's going to be, it's not 420. Well, I mean, we all wish maybe the price was at 420 right now, but $100 away from that. Yeah, I think Neil nailed it right now. There's not much going on with the stock. Down 3% is like what Palantir's down and what some of these other stocks continue to battle with today. Nice little rebound there. This is that falling knife theory that I have now. Forget about it. If you miss a stock or whatever, just leave it alone and deal with it later once it makes a bottom. And bottoms have been happening around 10:30. Not just, I mean, we can look back. This is not something that I'm cherry picking. Between 10:15 to 10:30, the market has had a opportunity to settle down, and we've noticed that that's created some buying opportunities, which is, I mean, if you look here on the TQs, that's exactly what we did right there today. And again, if you're just looking at one day, that's what it's going to look like. But I don't know. I really love, I just have a Model 3. I think that's been a great car. I love that car, and we'll just continue to drive it and maybe not trade it until there is some sort of key levels. And I think that looking at Tesla now, I don't know. It's down. This is one of the stocks where people always ask us, like, is there a name that you could sort of buy now and put away and not worry about it for a while? I really do think that that's Tesla, to be honest with you. I know there's a lot of people that are hating on the stock and everything, but if things work out the way Elon's planning for it to, and again, you're taking a shot with him, is that are we really, autonomizing, is that a word?
We are.
The whole world. And I mean, I think that Tesla's going to be there with the data, with the ability to make these robots. They're probably initially going to make them cheaper than anybody else, get their margins skyrocket, right? And then, yeah, Apple will come up with an Optimus or something like that. So will Google. They all will eventually. But the idea is Tesla's doing it now, and we've heard that potentially robo-taxi fees half of what Uber is, and you,
which is massive.
I told you that would crush Uber, and then you made a good point of saying that Uber will adjust, and they will, and they'll fix their margins and potentially go autonomous themselves.
For the record, I probably own 10 times more. Well, it's not. No, it's probably more like 6 to 8 times more Tesla than I do Uber. I do own Uber shares.
Right.
I just think there can be multiple winners. But if Tesla gets there first, I think it'll hurt Uber. The advantage Uber has, they've already got some good partnerships. Alphabet's going to get there. And they've been doing a great job. And realistically, they're at the lead right now, at least here in the U. I say here, but I mean in the U.S. because we don't have any of that here. Yay, Canada. But ultimately, Tesla's potential. We were literally talking about mining asteroids the other day. It's like, science fiction. Who do you think has the technology? I mean, it's more SpaceX than anything else, but you don't think that some of that advanced technology that they've been able to prove there at Tesla, like when Elon Musk says that he wants to land someone on the moon, I know the timelines don't get met, but I tend to be a believer. Nobody thought that you could actually make EVs in America cost effectively. And now only one company can without losing money. So maybe the timelines aren't what we want. That's why you have to be ridiculously patient with Tesla. There's just no way around it. You're going to have those doldrums where the shorts are like laughing at you, but over time,
the guy's catching rockets in midair.
When I watch something like that, I'm a bit of a nerd, but I'll sit there and I'll watch it 20 times. It's so cool. And my dad's the same way. He's in engineering. He's like, this is unbelievable. He doesn't even like Elon Musk, but he just sits there in awe as well about everything that he does.
Even if not him, he has enough money to hire the right people, get the technology in there. And someone in the chat says, doesn't Elon always get things wrong? The man is the richest man in the world. So you tell me how many things he's gotten wrong in his life. And, I mean, you're going to swing and miss.
You get the timelines wrong.
Whatever. And like you said, we don't know what's going to happen. You could have an announcement tomorrow that we're ready to go. I think the problem with robo-taxis, of course, is going to be also legislation. I mean, they're going to need to get, and I think him and President Trump are playing nice now. So maybe there could be.
Well, he's no longer going ahead with the America Party.
Oh, okay. So I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I don't know, it wasn't enough of a story to throw it on the watch list or anything.
Was that today?
Well, I think it was overnight.
Oh, so the stock's not reacting to that.
Yeah, the stock didn't really react to it, and it was more, I think it was overnight that we heard that news. So, and it's not really that big of a deal because it had been quiet on that front for a while, so I think implicitly no one thought that was happening. What is weird to me is the tone of what we got from the Fed meeting minutes. Don't you think we should, do you really think it should have gone from 85% chance of a quarter point cut to 83? That's it? Really?
What happened? Oh, it's a different today.
I expected it to go down. I thought maybe it would go down more than that much. So once again, the markets seem to not care about the tone from the Fed when it comes to projecting the September cut. Nothing has changed. We're at 85% before the meeting minutes. We're at 83% now. I'm willing to bet you that a lot of people would say that doesn't make sense. Usually the money markets have this dead on, so what you see is what you get. It's been incredibly accurate. I'm just surprised there wasn't a bigger adjustment. That's all. 3%. Sorry, check that. 2% was the shift, 85 to 83. We'll update. We'll see if those odds will update closer to 3 o'clock. But the first update is essentially nothing. Market still thinks that we're getting a quarter point cut in September, which is just less than a month away now, actually. I was about to say a month away, but less than a month away. Airy Pages, I was just about to go over Intel. You know it sucks when you're the only thing that can't catch a bid today.
Dude, I mean, this thing hasn't...
everything else caught a bid today.
This thing hasn't caught a bid. I mean,
except for Intel.
Check every single semi-stock over the last 10 years.
V-shaper. But on a day like today, you'd expect, a
bid today?
You'd expect something. Some kind of a bid. Some kind of buying to come in.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Tomorrow we go short, maybe today. If this breaks 23.20, this is a flat bottom break. I actually want to short pops on this afternoon as well. If it's even possible for it to get into VWAP or 23.6, this lower high, it's a short. 23.20 is a flat bottom break on Intel. It just can't seem to... Yeah, it just can't catch a bid. Everything else can.
Oh, man. I wanted to show everybody this chart of Intel. You would think that maybe there's splits adjusted here or something like that. So this is why I feel pretty silly. This is a monthly chart. So this is where Intel is today, right? And we talked about not catching a bid today. I agree with Neil. I mean, I'm surprised that when the market goes down, Intel's down 8%. I mean, it does seem a little bit more dramatic than probably it should be. But so this is today. So if we go all the way back to here, right? So we do have some split actions happening in this time, it looks like. But this is all price adjusted for splits. So this is like a legit chart. This is E-signal. This stock, so where it is today, it was also here in 1998. So today is 2025. So my math is not great, but $1.27 years ago is not worth $1 today. It's actually worth less, actually, if you're going to go with monetary policies and whatnot, fiscal policies. But that's tough, you know. And when you're going to call up, I'm not even going to use Nvidia, but let's just say Intel and Microsoft or Cisco, or you know, all the names that were all sort of together back then, you know, when Intel maybe was a thing. If we go back to 1998, you are long $29 on Microsoft. It's $500 right now. So I'm in.
The CRCL is probably the best. Just,
they're all. I mean,
just
I don't want to call up Tesla. Yeah, I mean, there's anything, right? I was just using Microsoft because Microsoft was like basically throughout the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s. This is just a Microsoft daily chart, just showing you how it's pulling back right now. I was just going to say it was flat. I remember trading Microsoft with my father, listening to Jim Cramer, of course, watching Mad Money when I was, you know, 15, 16, 17 years old, and I started investing my own capital then, so 30 years ago. And Microsoft was just in this sort of haze and not doing anything, and then it just exploded. So I still think there's room for Intel to do that. I mean, there is reasons why SoftBank's taking a stake, and the U.S. government and other companies today. There was reports that there was more interest in more stake there. We saw Micron, some news about that earlier today. I still think,
was annoying.
Yeah, I still think Intel can go. It's just like you need that next thing, right? And PCs are back a little bit, and so I'm surprised that Intel.
It was supposed to be Foundry, and Foundry's not going to make them money for another couple of years, which they said themselves. At first they said 2026, and now they say 2028, maybe late 2027. So that's going to be losing them a lot of money. That's why they need this capital. Someone just told me Beyond Meat's breaking through those. Correction, it is not. If it was anything breaking a 52-week low today, I'd be all over. Just for the sheer bounce in the market, it'd be relatively weak, but double-checked, it is not. What I did see, and earlier, I was, you saw me on a Snapchat chart, and it was kind of random. Snapchat today, this is, again, there's no big story on Snapchat, but it's what it did at this low that interests me a little bit here. $7 April low. It wicked the $7 level by 1 cent and then rebounded. I like that setup for some kind of a continuation play. As long as you can close above like 710 here, I'm gonna like the long potential tomorrow for Snapchat. Little bit of a liquidity grab at the $7 level to get a bit of a bounce back, and that's a stock with a decent enough short flow. And it's a lot of room for it to go since earnings. Like this was $8 at the low from earnings, so if it can break out the top, that's something we can be looking at tomorrow. It's just on my list of things for tomorrow, which is why I had it up sort of randomly when we were talking earlier.
Okay, so let's just regroup a little bit here, because is Microsoft not a buy down here at the 50-period moving average? Like you're down from the highs now 10, 11, or 12% from the highs on Microsoft. The way that I thought is those are good buying opportunities right here. I think this is something, Microsoft, right there. If we get what day is it today? Wednesday? I don't really know why that matters. I'm not here Friday. But I was just thinking maybe we'll see what happens tomorrow to Microsoft. I think this is a name that I'm going to have to try to buy. There's a few names in the, but again, like all I'm kind of doing is adding to my portfolio of already loaded up tech stocks. And I think Microsoft might be, just because of where Microsoft is, and I just told you the story, I've been holding that for a long time. It is a big part of the portfolio. But there's Amazon down, just touching its 50-period moving average, so maybe there's something there as well. But they're not quite, well, actually, if their high was 240, you know, you take down 10% on that, 240 minus 10%, you're back into the 215, 220 area, and that's essentially where Amazon went. So I don't know. I know that you recently dip bought some Amazon, so I was just going to say, like, which one would you like? But that's already down there. And then you do have, okay, so Google's the one that already had its very dramatic play. Yeah. I mean, all of them did in tariff time.
I don't think Google you can buy here. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's all-time highs to let's just say 205, so drop down 20% from that, you have to get into the 185 area. Anyways, it looks like most of these moves would be near the 50-period moving average. The only other one, and I actually pulled the trigger on this one, I bought Apple here at 212. You know, so I actually made this move, and it actually wound up working out as well. But again, that one down 260, it's down more than 10% from its all-time highs, but actually it's about right there now. They had a move back in there. So I don't know, put in the chat, like, what a higher quality. Oh, we just bought Palo Alto as well.
Meta bounced the 50 period as well.
Did it? Okay.
Well, sort of. Yeah, kind of. The thing about, like, yes.
Is that 10% though?
It's close enough.
Yeah,
it's
basically close.
But, no, but it didn't go 10% down. I don't think it, no, it didn't. It did not get 10% down because 97 is the top and it only got to 30. So, yeah, I don't know about Meta all the way up here. Like, it's such a big move. Like, it's one thing like you said. Like, I bought Amazon on a dip because I thought the earnings were pretty solid, and it got beaten up a little bit, and I was a little underweight them, relatively speaking, because out of the Mag 7, I only dip bought 2 of those things on the way down, and it was Meta and Nvidia, and Microsoft was one I'm like, I don't like Microsoft as much as the others, and then those were the 3 that you needed to have. So we'll see. I just feel like maybe Meta, from a valuation standpoint, like it's still maybe a little bit pricey and it's run a little bit
I mean, as long as people are born, Meta will still go up.
Oh, I agree. Like, I think, I wouldn't, if I hadn't bought it, maybe I would have. If I hadn't bought it twice this year, I probably would be buying this dip. But I have, so I'm not. With Google, I don't need this trend line anymore. Trend lines don't matter once they break. It held the top. What I like about Alphabet is it has all this support, and then now it's just making a new trend line. It breaks out this top here, and now I will look at this. And what you want to see is when something new happens and support comes in, what happens on a market down day? Does it bounce off that support? Google did at 195. I think this is going to take out maybe not today. I mean, what happens in the afternoon today has nothing to do with necessarily what I think will happen in the next few weeks. But this seems like trend into the high. Like, this is the one that seems like it wants to break out the top. If Mag 7 name taking out its top, it's going to be Google next, I would think. But that doesn't necessarily mean.
Oh, well, it's not.
It's under $200 today, which is a big level. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I shouldn't say anytime soon, but it's not happening today. That's for sure.
Oh, boy.
It's not really going out on a limb.
Of course, the name that we both like the most, or similarly, Google, and I'm short this one. We're still 75 cents.
But it's a different, it doesn't.
We're just, and I want to make sure that Neil and I have said some stories about how there's been traders in our careers that we've seen come and go, and sometimes they get caught up trading their own books, and you don't want to necessarily do that. It's like today, for example, you guys know that I'm somewhat long on Palantir. You know, it doesn't stop me from shorting it. You know, like when levels are hit at certain times, you make the trade and you sort of put your personal opinions away from whatever the market is doing, and that's the best way to do it. And that way you're not attached to levels or individual stocks and biases, I think, is something important for sure. Okay, let's look to see what we want to do. So the market is battling itself back upside right now. Amazing to see this. The Nasdaq was down 1.7% at its lows there, and now it's made back half of that move already, starting to come back to the upside. I will not short a dull market. That's the one thing that I've learned over the years. Do not short a dull or sleepy market. And not that it was definitely not, like, these are the markets you want to short when it gets going. It's like, go, and the pressure's there. But you see, as we're starting to climb up right now, this is very dangerous just to short in the middle here. I think if you're going to look for anything short, you may want to operate in and around this level, 2,300 or so, 2,300. 23,000 right there. What are you talking about, 20 years ago?
That's a good buy.
I'd buy Nasdaq at 2,300. But shorting in and around here, 23.3. So that's what confused me right there. That top would maybe be the level to short it. But this looks like it doesn't want to say yes to any shorts. So I don't know if you've watched that show, Say Yes to the Dress. It's a... I don't know, I think it's on TLC or something. It's where everyone goes and they pick their wedding dresses and all that kind of
I think I've...
Joe's going to have to do that soon when he picks out wedding dresses.
Yeah, he's definitely shaking his head.
I wonder if Joe's going to wear the black tux or white or what. I feel like this guy's very stylish. See. I knew there was something. I cannot wait. I hope Joseph and I are still friends when he gets married so that I can get the invite, because I definitely want to be hitting up that
when
wedding.
You get older, you just want to get invites to weddings.
Yeah, man.
Like, you know, already
when you're younger, it's like, damn it, another wedding?
wedding.
Like, how many have you been to recently?
Summer comes around and you're just like, every single week,
3 already this year.
I haven't been to a wedding.
I've been to 3 in
forever.
10 years, you know?
If anyone's getting married,
Thankfully, I'm the oldest of all of my cousins.
I don't mind having a
So they're marrying off that, but I'm too old.
it's like the cousin's kids now.
My brother, a year younger than me, not married. So maybe that might be something that happens soon.
Yo,
I doubt
Mike.
it, man. I doubt it.
Mike, yo, come
Man,
on.
that guy needs to get married soon.
Love Mike.
And then the thing is, I got to get invited to Joe's wedding because I have to do something with a pie. Like, it has to be some kind of a gift there related to a pie.
Or cookies.
Something like that. There he goes. Look at Joe. I like Joe in that hoodie.
Oh, more importantly,
he looks like a boxer.
I want to go to Joe's bachelor party.
Don't you look like a boxer there? Like,
He's ready to roll.
I think he's ready to rock and roll. All right, we got you.
Joe can throw down, but you know what is also exciting? It's to be the ability for Canadian traders that are sophisticated to hop on to Beta Pro by Globex Canada because they've launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs, offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and U.S. Treasuries. And even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st of this year. Those ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek to neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indices. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3xdaily to learn more. Thank you to Beta Pro for sponsoring this segment. If you're 3x long right now, maybe you're liking the market going back up. I just noticed that Hertz, it's holding this low. Just for if you missed the opening of the show and we were talking about this in the rundown, Hertz, Amazon partnership, sell used car vehicles. Randy talked about how they have an advantage because they do so much buying and they get discounts, which their fleet's huge. So this is a good business for them. Maybe not good for Carvana and CarMax, but bouncing off the 50 period or 200 period moving average on a trend basis, this is a trend break. Obviously, this topping tail candle you'd hope wasn't real if you're bullish, but it is. Rejected. Now it's held that same low. So triple bottom today after holding on the higher time frame, the 200 period moving average. I want to take a shot at this. I want the volume to pick up. So I'm going to have a level 2 up. Volume's, I'm missing a volume bar there. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. It's probably a neutral bar and I don't have it set properly. I want the volume to pick up here a little bit. So I'm going to sit, look for a dip. But if I start to see volume pick up, I want to be long into the volume weighted average price, just giving it to this triple bottom. Like, if you're going to hold the line on this, then I want a stock that has the potential to go, and we thought it did earlier, so I'm going to stay with that here on our friend.
Your loss,
So stop is in. I got my bid in front of that low of the day. If volume picks up, I might join somewhere else. But for now, I'm going to be patient with HT.
Here, this is from our friend Nimrod again. Here, have some Icelandic chocolate.
It's good stuff.
Right there.
I mean, I'll eat pretty much any chocolate.
Anybody wants to send any chocolates or anything come through?
Apple fritter.
My kids are like,
apple pie.
Dubai chocolate. Oh,
Chocolate.
Dubai chocolate. Cost me more money. That's all I know. We went to Shake Shack in Boston, and my daughter's like, first of all, Shake Shack is not cheap, my friend. It was $80-something for 4 of us, which is not,
I mean, these days.
unbelievable. It was like $110 Canadian, something like that. All we had was burgers. Burgers, fries, Dubai chocolate shake. That was like $9.99, $10. Again, 99 problems, $10 ain't one, but
You know what pissed me off?
for a shake,
Stocks.
I'm like,
But everything. Look, prices are going up. We all know this. One of the annoying things,
Nasdaq
you know,
chocolate's
like
pretty good.
everybody knows, you go to the grocery store, you go anywhere, right? The costs are going up. I hate it when people usually in the news, sometimes when it's on financial news, it's 1,000 times worse. I mean, just in the general news, when they're like, oh, and the cost of living and prices decreased over the last month as the inflation rate dropped from blah, 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 to blah, blah. I'm like, no, the ass it didn't.
no, the ass it didn't.
Inflation.
I like that one.
I said it ticked me off. The inflation rate going down is not prices decreasing for everyone out there that reads something in front of a. It bothers me to all heck. That just means that the rate that it's going up decreased. Prices are still going up. People are still paying more just because inflation goes from 1.7 to 1.5 or 2.9 to 2.6. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. And it's like they read the news for a living. And when it happens on a financial channel, I want to strangle somebody. It's like, come on, man.
Like clickbait.
Well, yes. Anyways, I don't know why, but it's because I heard it this morning on a local Canadian news station.
Worked up about it.
And it's like, you've got to be kidding me, because people, like lots of people will hear that and actually believe that to be true over the fact that they go to the grocery store and costs are still going up. But
the price of one apple the other day was $1.13. And it was just like a golden delicious generic apple. It's like the ones my kids prefer. So we got them two for they're both going to camp. And it was just like, and then we looked at each other and we said, but it's the same price as a chocolate bar. You know, it's like there's something wrong.
There's something fundamental wrong with that.
in this world when that is what's going on. But rants of the day as we go. All right,
I like Uber here, by the way.
That's what I was going to say. We can't find some stocks that we like. The Nasdaq is tricking. Okay, I mean, if you have Uber up, still down only 2%.
Well,
not bad. I was going to look at some banks, maybe.
Above the morning highs, right? It's leading the market. Okay, it's not leading the market. It's down more than the market. But so here's the Nasdaq, so the ES, doesn't matter, same thing. And we're underneath the prior highs, underneath any resistance that got put in there. But Uber is consolidating above. Now, I'm probably jinxing this in the moment that I'm saying it. But if we can consolidate here, hold the higher lows and break out that top, this looks like a good name. The other thing about Uber, didn't get to the 50, very close to the top here on Uber. Like, this is not much. Like, just yesterday, we were challenging the highs. The pullback isn't that large on Uber. Hopefully, volume can start to kick in on this thing because it looks pretty strong, relatively speaking. I just like it if it can take out. And it's exactly 93.50, that's this top. So it's pennies away from potential breakout. I feel like if the market goes, this one's already in a little bit of a leading position. So if we can break out, I like the break through the top, but as I said, just not much happening to want to have it get there. The market probably needs to gravitate a little bit toward the high, and then we can get a little bit more juice. The other name I have up that we went over it, but is Tesla. Now, the other side of the coin, like what do I like for a short? I'm sitting in SoFi, which is at 19. I'm short at 16. It's not really doing much. But Tesla here, if this loses VWAP, the 320 level, I think there's potential downside. It's making distinct lower highs here. Would like to see it crack underneath the volume weighted average price for a short. Feels a little bit weaker overall. Like if market turns from here, Tesla down in the teens makes a little bit of sense. So I want to see it cracked underneath the volume weighted average price the same way I would want, in theory, Uber to actually do something and break out that high. So those are two stocks outside of SoFi that I'm watching.
All right. All I want to do is grab a zoom in your boom boom. Good.
Okay.
Good. Want to shake the rump shaker right there. So thank you, Barry Dingle, 7203. This must be an old head like us. Shout out to the chat. Thank you so much for the 5 bones. Trader TV Live fam, what's up with CoreWeave? It's killing me, Smalls. All right. So yeah, we'll have a quick look at CRWV, and I think that. Sort of the bear case on CoreWeave is, once they released that balance sheet, it was pretty debt heavy there. And if you do have a pull down in, CapEx spending, I mean, there's some nervous hands about some of the NASDAQ names. And obviously you see the NASDAQ dripping down. So CoreWeave, that comes as a well hyped up IPO, and traders traded it well off that $40 level down into here. We had talked about various pundits, Jim Cramer and other heads there, financial heads, talked about this as it was IPOing. It absolutely mooned off the first couple of days, right? I mean, went from 35 to 60 bucks, then came all the way back in, tested that level, and then just started to go when all we heard about was, obviously we're still in. I think we're still in pretty early innings right now of the AI boom, right? But the company's capital expenditures were over $29 billion, and that's huge. I'm not sure if I was trying to look up what their EPS was, but they did have 300% year-over-year growth. The problem is their price to sales is 22 times. That's huge. So when you have stuff about valuation, I'm not even sure. I haven't looked at what CoreWeave's price earnings ratio is. So let's just have a quick look to see what we're saying here on CoreWeave on our Benzinga Pro platform right now and see what that PE is exactly. Yeah, so I don't think they're making money. So right now, not good. So out of this world. If we have problems with Palantir, we're going to have problems with CoreWeave, right? Short sellers, Jim Chanos, apparently, I'm just reading this now, is also short CoreWeave right now. So that could be a problem. Competition, Azure, AWS, Google Cloud continue to be things as well. Like, I don't know. You know, you switch over your phone, it's seamless right now, everything's in the cloud. So yeah, CoreWeave, we talked about it. It hit the 50-period moving average, now all the way down to the downside. OpenAI trying to get into the business as well. But yeah, I don't know. High reward AI cloud potential for CoreWeave, but just again, coming back in, I think you want to wait at least another quarter before you dip your toes into this name. And just looking at this chart, Fabian must be long CoreWeave. He's getting pissed off back there.
He's not happy with that analysis whatsoever. He's breaking stuff over there.
100p, baby. Here, Amin, please take an Icelandic chocolate for your efforts today. There you go.
It's like Icelandic chocolate.
Well, because whatever chocolate I gave to you, man, really got you motivated. So watch out there, Ramin. I'm not sure exactly what's in these chocolates.
I love any treat.
Yeah, man.
Trader TV team chat, and then show it to
Which
them.
one? Oh,
Team chat?
Oh,
Yeah, like
what's
our
this?
main chat.
This?
I guess I should put notifications on, right? Okay. What does it say? Join Trader.
It's an Instagram video.
Oh, it's an Instagram video. Okay.
Either or.
Team chat. Oh, this one with Neil here pointing. Oh, it's a Blue Jays
Well, I
one?
need to change the thumbnail, but yeah.
All right. Here, I got it.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
But then no one can hear it really.
Yeah, you have to go to the.
Oh, this is our. So this is Go over to @tradertv.live. This is I guess going through the change that we've had. This is where Brendan used to sit. There used to be desks behind us there. Here's Neil. That's the Blue Jays weren't even. Here's me. Like what the hell, Neil?
How old
right now, but look. Oh, okay. How do I?
What is that from?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, Ramin, nice jacket there. Okay, there we go. So this is just. I'm gonna pause it as we go. All right. How the hell do I full screen this thing? What do you mean? I'm trying to full screen this. What do you mean? How do I full screen this?
Blue Jays gear.
Maybe can I zoom in? Okay, here we go. All right, so this is what used to be behind us right now. As you can clearly see, there's even nothing behind us right now as we go.
Where is the putting green?
There. See, traders used to be back over here. Sharif's yelling at somebody. I don't even know who this is. Maybe this is Joe. Maybe it isn't. There's Adair. There's Joe. This is what it looks like right now. So just kind of like back there. Here's Brendan sitting right behind us. Now we don't even know where Brendan is. And this is what it looks. And this is what it looks like now. So there used to be all this. There's Neil here, really excited. All this stuff behind us, and this is what it looks like now. It's crazy guy over here. Nothing behind us at all. Right now. So thanks, Ramin, for all of that. I guess if I hit the like, yeah, it's pretty cute right there. There it is. Everyone, please go comment and think what you like, or else she will shut the show down. Right there. Thanks, Ramin, for that. Yeah, I guess I got to get in that team chat a little bit more right there. Team Snap is the program we use. Sporting events. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Go over there, like it, everything, right? Go over to @TraderTVLive on Instagram. Grab it on Twitter. We're all over that as well. Adara, myself, Neil, we all have those accounts, but Trader TV Live and myself, Trader TV Sean on Instagram. But don't be fooled, man. Many impersonators out there. I got another message the other day, and he sent me the WhatsApp message. He's like, look, is this you messaging me about it was Walgreens or something like that. And I'm like, no, man. So remember, if you're watching the show, there's 5,000 of you right now. We should do these PSAs maybe a bit more, but do not. We don't do anything.
Was a heck of a buy on Liberation Day.
Yeah, we don't do anything other than what we're showing you right here on the show. So please try not to get.
If there's ever, I had a dream last night, and if there's ever a flash crash, it was weird because there was a flash crash in my dream last night, and I remember loading into Walgreens at $10.
Okay.
And it
got bought out though.
Yeah, but that's why.
Right.
Because I guess in my head it was like they're being bought for like $11.45 cash. Plus like there's like a business, whatever. There's like a CVR, a certain portion of their business. You can get some revenues depending on where they are when the deal closes. Yada yada yada. So it's actually worth more than the $11.45. It's trading at $12. But in my dream, it was at $10, and I was like, oh my goodness, as the market was falling, and I was buying in the day trading account. But I wanted to go over to Uber here because, Uber tried It just can't go. Come on.
You can't win.
Do it. Do it or don't do it. And it's not doing it right now, unfortunately, in Uber. And no, so I know everyone's like, oh, that's a nightmare, a flash crash. It's weird. Like, as a trader, I get it. No one wants to see a flash crash. But as a trader, that is kind of a good dream because, like, it's like, oh my God, I'll buy the dip. That was what was going through my head. So it was a pretty good dream. And I have versions of that one all the time because it's like, what do you do if I saw the flash crash again because I sat there and did nothing? When was that? Like,
That August one, the Japanese one?
Yeah, that was
last summer.
No. I'm talking like the flash crash.
The flash
12
crash.
years ago.
Yeah, maybe even longer than that.
Anyways, I remember
Procter & Gamble went to zero.
Yeah, I remember sitting there doing nothing. Accenture went to zero, and I didn't lose any money, but I didn't actually catch anything at the bottom as a day trade.
The problem is, like, we kind of had one a little bit like that today, and you don't want to try to catch those falling knives unless they're like the craziest prices.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I saw something resembling that, which now they actually have the limit down rules. Back then, the market wouldn't halt on its own. But if I saw the market go halt down midday, it's like you think about what you would buy like ahead of time, so that if the moment happens, you're not freaking out. Like I'm gonna go to something like a Walgreens where if it's like it shouldn't fall. It's something that I believe fundamentally has no business falling. You see it at a ridiculous price because then you have the confluence of I know it's worth this at this point. But anyways, back to the market. Uber doesn't seem like it wants to do anything. Apple at the lows. I saw someone put that in there and it made me think of it. No pop on Intel to short because why not? Why would it even bother doing it? Anything. SoFi though. It's trying, was able to get some out on a dip, and then I really reloaded those shares, but it's trying to take out that prior bar after the trend break. I'm not going to redraw the trend line. I have to hit save, and sometimes that crashes my chart. So I'm going to get out if it breaks. This was the prior bar in. We're able to take some out at our original entry, but this one wants to go up. It's just, A, it's not dropping, and B, it's not going to drop like it did this morning. We're not going to get any moves like we did this morning. Oh, and obviously I never got filled in Hertz. I'm still bidding on Hertz, and I have gotten no fill. It did pop down a little bit, trying to catch it in front of this low, get a little bit of a resumption of the trend, triple bottom on Hertz, that's all. But no bid filled at all. As I said, not going to get back into SoFi, I don't think. It's just not going to do what it did this morning, unfortunately, for us here. Market going higher. I want something long. Uber's not doing anything. Hertz won't pick me up. And nothing else is really moving all that crazy.
I mean, Target's had a nice day. Target's trying to break through $100.
Well, relatively,
to 99. Yeah, I mean, it was
still down.
You know, the lows there. It's only really been up. I mean, you do get that move into VWAP again, and we talk about it. You know, when there's a gap, play that VWAP. But this would have been the other way around. You might have tried to short it there on VWAP, which would have worked okay. But that was at 940. Hasn't really done too much since then. Yeah, $99 right there. VWAP only coming in one time at 96. That might be. What is it tonight? Is it Walmart tonight or tomorrow morning?
No, tomorrow's Walmart.
Yeah.
But that's Walmart's after the bell tomorrow. It's pretty late.
They're after? No. Are they after the bell?
Walmart? Pretty sure.
Are they?
Let me double check.
Adara was scheduling some of those tweets. We hope Adara's doing well. She's off today. Maybe back tomorrow, maybe not. If not, hopefully back Friday. If not, back Monday. Right there.
Oh, it is? Yeah, it is before the open.
Yeah, they're always before the open. What are some names over there?
BILI.
Okay, so some Chinese names.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's it, okay. Yeah, so.
Walmart and BILI. But tonight we have a special treat for you. As
good.
Sean just mentioned, Adara is off. But we're good to go. Because Joey No Apple Pie will be joining me on the Market Recap Show where we will discuss
Kablam.
all things pastries, all things. No, we'll probably talk some options. We'll go over some of the moves today. He's locked and loaded, excited about it. You better wear that hoodie for sure. I don't know. What's crazy about this is I don't think I've ever seen Joe on the floor dressed casually.
Exactly.
Never.
Exactly.
Not once. This
is why I had to bring it out.
But I like seeing it. I like it because that's how we used to be. Didn't always used to wear collared shirts. Well, that's the best. One of the best, not the best. One of the best things about prop trading, or at least day trading, here at Real Trading, is there was really no dress code. Like you can't look like.
We can wear hoodies whenever we want.
No, we used to wear hoodies.
Yeah.
We
just don't wear ties.
Anyway, no tie, but I used to wear hoodies.
The hoodie's a jam. The hoodie's a jam.
Not anymore. For you guys.
Oh no, I wear hoodies for you guys. I don't think anybody wants to see me in these. Be comfortable. What's up with Women Boss right now? Yeah, but you're wearing a golf shirt. Empowered women change the world, and you can help make it happen. You can do it right now with our sponsor, Woman Boss. Trains and helps mentor women and girls across Africa to lead, innovate, and thrive. Since 2018, we've reached over 10,000 women and girls, and your donation today can launch the next great entrepreneur. Scan the QR code on your screen now and join us in building a brighter future. Thank you to Women Boss for highlighting all of this with you guys. All right, let's try to find something else here, man. I mean, what Palantir 155, so right back to the highs again. It could be a decent short area, but like I said, I talked about this not wanting to short this kind of a market, and I think we've been pretty accurate with that right here as we're trying to, again, take out this mid-afternoon level. We said that we would look at a 23.3, so we're not quite there yet, but it looks like Palantir wants to continue to go. It's only 310 right now, so breaking out from this level actually really isn't that bad at all if we can break through that level now on Palantir. I mean, we did do a great hold there of 154. That would be much better. And this thing is moving dollars, not cents right now. This thing is really off. So if you're looking for something that's going to be a quick mover, probably this. I'm looking at some scanners to come through to see what is going on. BMNR right now hitting. It's nice little rebound in crypto, by the way. It's back to 13.7. I mean, it was down to 12. 112,000 at one point there. So BMNR not doing too much. We do have these e-signal scanners that we have up right now, and this is just the trade rate. So stocks that are sort of moving a little quicker than usual right now, or not. Palo Alto, oh yeah, bullish right there. Does hit, look at that today, 52-week low right there on bullish, $57. So
every day.
That came out as, what was it, 90 or 88 or something like that. Was a great trade. I mean, my best outs on this is like 120 or something on that day. And you could see this is the market we're in right now. Like, that's why I said that ether machine or whatever, when that comes out, we'll see what the demand is like. But this is making me very, very nervous because this is what bullish did.
This is the first update today.
Yeah, boom, boom. Went up to 118 or 120. And then since then, it's just been blood down there. I wonder what, I don't wonder, we can look it up, but was it 33 or something it started at there? So I wonder if eventually we get down there. But remember, we saw CoreWeave, we saw a name like an ARM, that did have problems during their IPO phase. And it was like, it got really hot, then came back in. And then ARM, the story in ARM is that it's obviously a lot higher now than where it was before it came to market, as it got to its highs. But look where this came to market, right? Is it stopping now? Okay, good. So maybe if we even just zoom in a little bit, you're going to see now ARM is a little bit different because of the space it's in. Obviously, a name like Bullish is going to run up and down with crypto, as that's what the exchange that they're talking about. But ARM had a nice start, and then it kind of looks like a little bit like Bullish there as we covered up and went all the way down, and came to market around $55, went to $75. And then eventually got almost chopped in half. What is that? $48 down there to the downside before taking off to where ARM is now. Down obviously today, but if you look at it, I mean, so choppy this year. Wow. ARM has been like basically a chop fest ever since February of 24. Like, up, back in, all-time highs, back into lows again, back up to all-time highs, back into lows again, right there, back up basically. And I mean, we talk about all-time highs, we're going to miss it by $20. But so, where ARM could be coming back in, again, into $100, like, there's just so many questions about valuation and about, like, what they're doing. SoftBank, where are their shares at? All this kind of stuff just makes this back and forth, very, very choppy. Kind of looks like Tesla a little bit, too, with how choppy that is. So I don't know what people are doing with ARM, but right now, it's kind of stuck in the middle. Coinbase, Apple, Shopify, I don't know. You guys, we can do, I was going to say, let's do that.
Let's just do this right here. I saw some people saying TXN breaking out the highs of the day. Right now, AMD, Uber did go, AMD, Nvidia both running. So throw your ticker and make sure in the chat, type $ and then the ticker that you want us to cover, and you will see it pop up. Like I will go TX, $TXN, and then you should
AMD
see.
is all the way back?
So there it goes over there. AMD is topping the list right away. Nvidia, so there you go. Like visually we can see. And remember, it's a subs only chat. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button. This is what you guys want to look at. I was already on AMD when obviously Nvidia is going to lead the list for now. AMD is a close second. Robinhood is up there as well. But you're trying to break out the top here on advanced micro devices or advanced money doubler or advanced money destroyer, whichever name you want to give it, in about 2 cents. Or no, it already has. It was 40, not 50. It's attempting to break out of this high. By the way, obviously Uber got over that $93.50 level while the market continues to press higher. But it is these chips. Maybe Nvidia is a little, nope. AMD broke the local top. Nvidia is trying to break the local top and reversing a bit. Just be careful. The market's already through the high. You don't want this to start failing. For myself, Uber needed some confirmation. Like it failed to break, and then it took it a second time through. So I got in the second time through. Stop goes under like this little support area, and then I don't think it fills in the entirety of this gap from the morning, because the morning is just, it was a different beast. And the idea that you can get to those levels in 30 minutes seems rather unlikely to me. But I liked Uber because of its relative strength, where it was holding up. And maybe I want one of these chip names. Although I canceled my bid on Hertz. Just feel like the volume didn't come in like I was expecting, and it might have already done the minute bounce that it wanted to, and it did so without volume coming in. So you pretty much, you could have just got there and got like 10 cents at best, but you want volume to tick up on a small capper if you want it to go squeezing. And as it got bought up, I just didn't see the volume increase that would have got me juiced up to join this trend up here, unfortunately. Maybe tomorrow, though, for Hertz. Don't sleep on it.
All right, we're somewhat juiced up right now with a new position. I mean, I can't believe AMD is all the way back here. I was actually close to doing putting on a short in AMD, but I kind of like the break here, and I'm going to pat myself on the shoulder. But you know, we talked about not shorting an up market. Instead of, this is why I'm like, it's happy, but it's not really. Like we could have gone long. So there's a move higher right now. I'm just going to wait to see if we do hold some of these levels. Like we said, you're going to have to sort of change up the way. So right now we're long at 34s. We just got that dip in where we just took quarters right there. So let's see what winds up happening now with AMD. Hopefully, my Google trade, I have 5% left. We can talk about that. I mean, I wouldn't go long AMD and short Google. I don't think that's a recipe for any kind of success. But there's our 50-period moving average. That's all the way down at 60s. We're not doing that, man. I told you how violent sort of some of the moves have been here. I'm not doing that. So let me just put this back up to her to 50. I'll get out of 10% if we can get back to 50 right now on this play. But I was going to say, like, as this sort of matures, this stock, hopefully we don't just absolutely get a crank down into these levels. But I was thinking about this area right around here, 84, 85 as a stop if this gets nasty. But like I said, if we can get a little bit of a bump back up into these highs, we'll take out 10% and then see if the market wants to run. But I'm pretty happy going long here on AMD. I don't think this is not like a trade like we had earlier on today. I told you, honestly, 90% of my net today is this. You know, since then we've had a little bit, well, we lost on IBIT, but that would have been like couple percentage points of the net that we lost there. And that's funny because there it is, $64. We wrote down IBIT right here, and of course that's Bitcoin. I was saying, like, if we can break, well, first of all, we like the 65 break. That didn't hold. That was actually, we wrote down actually on here, IBIT $65 as a break, and that turns out to have been the exact top there. So we nailed, I mean, look, we nailed the level. And that's why when Neil and I posting things up, it's one of those things where everything is, these notes go, there's 65 long break. These notes are basically made, and I said it might correlate with 14K. So we're at 14K right now. But, oh, by the way, AMD.
What was that?
But anyways, IBIT, that was our trade there on IBIT. Palantir, Long, fine. Short. We're going to be down on Palantir today, but no, okay. Here we go, guys. Again, we just put this on, man. Follow me, hopefully not into the depths of hell, but into some profitable trading. And there it goes. We'll take some more out here at 52s. Good little trade here on advanced micro devices. We're long 33s. We'll take 20 cents. Hopefully this can just sort of add to this, and we'll be able to buy a nice sweater there today. But nice move to the upside as we continue to go. I only say that because that's one of Jim Cramer's things. It's like when you see profits, take some out and then let the rest ride and buy yourself a sweater. But there it goes, 164.45. We took out another piece up there, and now we are out. We took out 20%, so we got 10% twice. On the upside, we got one there at 48s and then another one at 53s. And we have two fills up there, but at the end of the day, only 20% out. So a nice little move there, just trying to stack it up. And we're not going to celebrate. I don't know if there's going to be a big move here into the close. But the thing is, if the market wants to get back to green, then we'll do that, man. Today, we don't have... Retail earnings are out. Target is starting to head a little bit higher there. So I think the earnings day today was pretty okay. We had Palo Alto yesterday, came with some fire, brought their stock and the whole cybersecurity space with it back up. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, up 2%. We like that one. Crude oil was up earlier. We can check that out. The Fed minutes didn't give us anything different than we already knew. I mean, Fed minutes came out at 2 p.m. and you could see right there, nothing happening when they came out. If anything, a little bit of a drip down. And now the market trying to react to that, going higher. So we like that. For that, Fed minutes, not much. Mega cap weakness drives the sell-off today. If you're just looking here at all the stocks that tend to lead us one way. Yesterday on the show, we talked about how red this side was, but today we get Texas Instruments up 2%, which is nice to see. Raytheon up 2% as well. What is this name here? Analog Devices, ADI, for some reason, up 6% today. Maybe that was an earnings play that we might have missed. I don't even know what that stock is. And then today, Amazon down 175. That's a little bit of a surprise. We had that Hertz news. I don't think that's a needle mover, but why are they down so much more than everything else? Amazon, I think you want to pick up more of that on weakness. That could be a retail push through.
It could be.
With Target.
ADI was.
There goes AMD.
It was earnings this morning, by the way.
Yeah, it was ADI. Okay. There goes AMD, guys. I mean, again, Neil and I, why? Oh, the position board not working again. Damn, Daniel. But there it goes. Nice upside move there for AMD. Just touched 60s there again. So we'll get some out again at some point. Yeah, once I get filled, okay, you want me to, okay, I'll get filled small here so we can hopefully see this trade. We'll wait on AMD. There we go, 54s. There it is. Okay, you're right. Gets popped right back in there. So, all right, so there's the long now for us. We're in it. And again, this is just, I'm going to get out of Google because I don't really care about that anymore. All right, we're out of Google. We talked about AMD. We talked about this trade. Gave it to you. We just got filled 5 minutes ago. It's now 40 cents in the, so we're pretty happy with all of that. So let's just keep going. We gave some great trades yesterday near the end of the day. Here's hopefully another one. AMD is just such a good stock for me. There's the short. There's the long. And we're just starting to count pennies now as we only have 30 minutes before imbalances.
Less than 30 minutes before the imbalances come in. Palantir just jumped to the top of the list of the names that you guys wanted to talk about, but is not breaking out the highs, unfortunately. But that could be an opportunity. It was probably the strongest move from the lows of most stocks today. I haven't looked at the entire market, but of everything I looked at, this was probably the biggest move off of the bottom. You still have the opening range top to break out at 155.8, but I believe, why wait for that? If this candle closed above 155, which it is going to do, almost certainly it is going to do here with only like a minute to go on this candle. I don't want to wait. It just held the 155. If 155.80 breaks that morning top, I think that's a go zone. But I'd rather be long into it than trying to take a breakout at like 333 or whenever the heck it does happen. Who knows? I have no idea when it's going to happen. The current low under 155 was about 87 or so give it to like 85 underneath that 155 level, and then we'll see if it can rejoin the party to the upside. Breakout of the high gives it an outside chance to go green. I think that's a little bit unlikely. Remember, it can break out the morning top and still be $2 away from going green on Palantir. So the chances of it going positive on the day might be a little bit unlikely, but that doesn't mean it can't catch a nice little bounce here. Like it just got to the 50 level, and then that 80 at the top is an out, and then a look for the wall in front of 80, and then a breakout at 156. 80,
Oh, boy.
which is the current high of the day. So just quick little 30 so far.
Nice.
We'll see if we can't get a little bit more on Palantir. As the market, the ES, I should say, should go green. The Nasdaq, wait and see.
All right, 50 cents on AMD as it continues to go. Again, we talked about never short this kind of a market. We've learned our lessons over the last 25 years, and there it goes, boom, to the upside now finally for advanced micro devices. And, you know, I saw there must be someone new in the chat, which we want to say thank you so much for joining us once again. I'll take out some more 68s right here on AMD. You guys have to hit the like, hit the subscribe, be part of this community, right? I mean, right now, over 5,300 watching. That 30 likes is obviously incorrect. We'll have to refresh that to get those likes going again here. There you go, push play. There we go now. So 540. It's always about 10%. Let's see if we can get this to 1,000. If you haven't hit like button yet, please do it right now. We've got some good winners on for you right now. Palantir, we've got Uber, we've got AMD going on. And I think we've done a good job. Like we talked about why we wanted to buy some AMD there. We zoomed out. We had sort of looked at that level. There it goes to the upside. And here goes AMD. And what I was saying is that everyone's going to do their own thing. But people are like, I saw someone say like, you know, 30, 40, 50. This is, first of all, this is 55 cents right now in advanced micro devices going into 60 cents. That's going to be decent, right? I mean, we're trading on a prop floor, so this is not, we're not buying options or anything like that. We're using other people's money to trade. And so, yeah, we are levered up right now as we continue to talk about this. So, you know, we're not buying. We don't disclose our share size. Everyone trades much differently around here. But, you know, 20 cents could be great for some amount of share size. $1 would be good for others. And you're just trying to trade what you see. And at the end of the day, we've been here so much that I've seen stocks go, you know, in the money $1, then out of the money $1 in the blink of an eye, obviously when news is happening, or like what we saw today. So when we're sitting here, hopefully entertaining and hopefully educating and having a good time here, and informing, by the way, if we can do all of that and put on some winning trades for you, I think we've done pretty good, and that's the whole point of what this show is. Trading is a lonely game, and you know we're here to look at the chat, to talk about all of this. There goes IBIT right now, by the way, finally probably breaking that 65 mark that we were looking at. No, not yet. I know Joe tried this level too, and it did fail at 65, but if we could take it again with some oomph, I like it.
Kind
Bitcoin,
of a random praise.
yeah, I mean it had its. What is? Hold on a second. So IBIT's up 1%.
114.2.
What is Ethereum up 5%? So you know I think you got to go over to Ethereum and play that relative strength maybe rather than Bitcoin.
It's been like that for a while.
But I do like XRP. I really like Ripple at these levels. What was it? XRP?
Shoot, the
XRPP.
That's a purpose one.
Well, that's a Canadian.
That's the
one.
Canadian purpose one that we can have in our TFSA. But I don't think you can trade that very well.
Yeah, this is what it looks like.
You really can't trade that.
Yeah, this is what it looks like here. These are like little fills everywhere, not much going on. You know, the difference between right there, like one share at 13.21. Yeah, this is not going to work. But the thing is, this is going to work for an investment. It's not like if XRP goes up 10%, this thing will go up 10%. You just have to hit the bid. So you're going to pay whatever those prices are. If you want to get out, right? It might not be a scalpable name, that is for sure. But right into there, you've seen a nice, this doesn't make sense. See, this is what I mean. Is this triple levered or something? Ripple goes from 1640. Well, I guess that actually does make sense. Yeah, it's down. This makes sense. Yeah, because XRP is down. So, all right, maybe this is something that we invest in then if we want to sort of diversify our portfolio a little bit and get into, it's XX, that's what it is, XXRP. Thank you so much to Dave. And Webcoin. Of course, Webcoin would know the answer to this one. All right, so there's XXRP. So your Palantir, I know you took some profit, but it just came out. I see AMD is also falling back a little bit. So I'm going to take an opportunity here to get out of another 5% or so. We're getting lighter and lighter on all these names. I mean, I did take advantage of that into the 80s there. But yeah, that I already forgot it. XX. See, we both forgot it. XXRP. So there it is, up 5. Wait a minute, is Ripple actually even up 5% today, or is this a triple levered? You tell me there, Webcoin, what's up with this one? But there's XRP right there today. In the last 24 hours, up 1.6%. Remember, this is crypto coin gecko, so it's a 24-hour look here. What's my guy Cardano at right here?
XRP's up 2.5 over 24 hours.
88 cents. Okay.
So I don't know. It's like, I don't think that was leverage, but maybe it is. Yeah, so Palantir came right back in. Essentially, it only gave like it's hard to see because when a stock moves $13 on the day, the scaling is not going to really show much. If it goes 50 cents up, it comes right back in into that 55 level, lost it. I reloaded for a flat. Still in Uber, which is trying, but not really going all that much. I like this. We were talking about this with regards to that other IPO that's coming out. Too many XRP ETFs. I'm just telling you, it
could be the top.
It's the kind of thing that makes you think about the top with all the IPOs. IPOs tend to be, you know what? Forget about the IPOs for a real second.
2Xer.
How about just the simple fact that Chamath is back? And no one even said anything about this. Like, it was like 3 or 4 months ago, Goldman Sachs actually came out and said they're going back into the SPAC game. This is months ago, and now Chamath is coming out, and we had a bunch of swath of IPOs, lots of them in the crypto and fintech space. That's, I'll be honest, like, that's the reason why I was feeling top-ish. Was mostly because of it's the reaction to the recent IPOs where there's so much selling. Bullish didn't have an update until today. Today was the first update that Bullish has had outside of.
That seems bullish.
Well, you'd think, but it's been bearish except for today. Just saying.
Those always to me signify the top of the market to some extent.
Nasty.
Right there. All right, CoreWeave, bullish, Circle. I mean, maybe CoreWeave is a trade. We did go over a little bit of CoreWeave there. It looks like it's trying to break its highs, and it's not really. I mean, yeah, 80. What is that? 90? Yes, we're almost there. $90 coming through right now. Ooh, Fed's Bostic said crypto is too small. For what?
I didn't catch the last part.
Something about financial stabilities.
I'm trying to find it.
I don't know. Is IBIT moving on that? Probably not.
No, it's not.
Fed's Bostic. Okay, well.
I found the quote. It's too small to put financial stability in play. So
yeah, I mean, the Bitcoin market's not stabilizing any sort of financial. Yeah. I mean, you got Salvador took over with Bitcoin, their monetary system over there. I don't know if any other countries have done that. Chile, I think, did.
Yeah, the bond market, I
only said that because I'm trying to get Fabian's attention.
It's so silly, relatively. He's focused over there. The other thing you guys don't realize that's been going on is there's like a back wall where production used to be. That's going to get opened up, and this stage is going to be gone. And there's so much. Like, it seems like half the work is done, but for Studio 8, it is not even halfway done. There's a heck of a lot that still has to happen. That was Circle, as you mentioned. I didn't realize how big the move was on Circle. We were talking about Palantir is the most impressive bounce. This might be the most impressive bounce that I've seen. Here might be Circle. Wow, that's unbelievable off the lows. $10 clean, not doing anything in the afternoon, however. Don't know what to tell you, but yeah, Bullish caught a bid, Circle's caught a bid. Like that little cascade down, you like the liquidity grabs. Like these are actually setting up pretty decently for tomorrow, whether it's Bullish or Circle for a little bit better. Uber came back into that 93.5. I mean, I'm in at 53. We're out if it breaks underneath that 50 level where it's trying to break out from. So it's still trying to gravitate towards a little bit of this gap fill that we put in here. And you can see if we get to 94, that's yesterday's morning range bottom. I don't think you can fill in the whole gap. I'd be happy if you just take a small piece of it at this point.
All right, just roller coaster ride continues, man. I mean, AMD goes up, goes down. We're still here, 63s. It's still 35 cents in the money. Like I said, Neil, just in and out of Palantir there, still in Uber. So, yeah, there it is right there. What's up, Havana? What are UXRP? So UXRP might be the one. We don't have that in our system. It doesn't look like. No, so we're missing this UXRP. If we type it in and nothing comes up, then we don't have the quote. So I assume it's going to be on either Nasdaq or
you can call it up on eSignal,
Amex. Yeah, I have it up on eSignal. Okay. It is right here. This is your daily chart for UXRP. It's ProShares ETF. So a lot of people trust the ProShares business, and yeah, so no change here.
It doesn't look that liquid.
Up, boom, boom. Yeah, I was talking about it just will be a 52-week low today. So watch out for UXRP as that's going boom in the night. AMD right here, 40 cents, back upside. What is Tesla doing? Let's have a quick look over there. We could talk about Walmart heading into earnings. We did sort of have a little bit of a talk on that. Today we have the retail squeeze plays in Target and Lowe's. Lowe's actually started off the day as a much better trade than Target, being up on the day, but that's fallen in and not really gotten going. And it actually did the opposite of Target. It saw VWAP and bounced off of it the other way. So Lowe's comes out with a good report, stays underneath VWAP all day, and then Target, basically the complete other way around, comes out with a bad report but stays above VWAP all day. So feel like Target right now got washed down into some key levels of low 90s and made its way back up. So congratulations if you have a smooth 4 or 5% there on Target trying to buy those dips. I have no idea how you did it. Congratulations on that one. Some of the stories, kind of remain the same today. We talked about Hertz and what they were doing with Amazon. Was really surprised that they got going. The short float on this one, 45%. So decent. Petit peu, short float on that one. You're not going to find another name more than, if there's another name more than 45%, please put it in the chat. I'd like to look at that name for sure. But Hertz goes downside right now today. And then the big story, I think today, one of the biggest stories in the market is the success of Palantir's battle back. Not that Palantir's had a successful day, but when you were down to $142 and now you're at $156, and you're about to possibly go green here into the close, you were down, Neil and I were asking ourselves if it was going SSR. It went down like 9.8% or something, and then just rallied for some strange reason. I mean, no volume down here to give us that okay or nothing. It just blasted to the upside there. And maybe you guys can tell me, we don't have a dare here or anything like that, but I'm not sure what rallied the market there today. Some stocks didn't really get to key levels. Like I couldn't find that there. Maybe Microsoft, but these don't create this. Like the Nasdaq was down almost 2%. Now you're flirting at green right now, red to green. The ES is also only down 0.17 now, making that much better. Microsoft, maybe that bounce has been helping all of this. Apple continues to, be at key levels? I don't think so. I mean, there's no epic bounce here in Apple at all today. The market really just said, hold my beer. We're going back upside. Part of that obviously is going to be the AMD and the Nvidia trade, because right now, there it is, man. We stayed with it. We stayed with the trade. We have 10%, a little bit more than that left on this trade as AMD continues to go a little bit higher. We did get some out on the way down, which wasn't great, but there it is, climbing back up into the highs again goes AMD. We can hold this name now until the close for sure. We only have 14 minutes left until the imbalances come out. An early look on the imbalances shows us mixed results again. PC&G, 2.75 million shares. Right now, GM coming with a bid. Looks like Enbridge with a bid, Pfizer with a bid. Charles Schwab, the largest brokerage in the world, coming with a bid as well. Charles Schwab has been, man, I should have got some of this instead of JPM, although I'm really happy with the JPM move. This is just absolutely rocketing up. Charles Schwab, look out below. They actually say if you break that level right there, but it doesn't look like it. What is that, $94? What a big move there for Charles Schwab. And I think that the report is that Nvidia was the largest net sell for all their retail trades over the month of July or so far in August. But anyways, I think that's just people either realizing some profits or rotating money out of something into something else.
Well, the biggest net shorts in the S&P over the last month were, well, I mean, one of them is obvious, Palantir, but the other one was Meta.
Okay.
Meta was the one the institutions also thought was a little bit frothy, which is, I'm not sure that that's what everybody would be thinking, to be honest. Like, you can get it with valuation on Palantir, which is now 168, by the way.
Right.
Sorry.
158.
156.
It'll be 168 tomorrow. Will be
156, by the way.
Right.
My goodness.
You're predicting tomorrow.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. It would have to go green on the day to get up there. Would Palantir? No, so you expect it for Palantir because of this, but the way it had run this year. But I did not expect to see that on Meta at all. But it's had a pretty good run in its own right. I don't think the valuation's as overstretched, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Palantir took out that 163. or 156 level. It's now 156.3, I should say. This could go green on the day, believe it or not. Like the ES is real close. Palantir going green that's about as big a slap in the face to shorts as you could possibly imagine. I mean, Circle, like there's a lot of things that have gone red to green, but if you're telling me the biggest notional short in the S&P 500 drops almost 10% today and then closes the day green, that is one of these. Right there. No questions asked. But you know what, though? Here's the thing.
Come on, Andrew left.
Andrew left. Let's be real for a second.
He left the stock alone?
He left. Oh, they might. Look, you take profits, but maybe they got a piece left. Who says they took it all out? But I'm willing to bet that they took 20% around. Like they were like the shorts. They're short in here. I mean, come on, in the 180 to 185 range, and you didn't take anything out on that kind of volume down underneath $150. Of course they did. Andrew left the building. And probably, look, I'm sure they did incredibly well. So, good for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You put in the work, you do the research, you put out your notes, and, paid off.
They apparently timed it right. Like it's
Yeah, nothing wrong. I'm not trying to hate on it.
They timed it right. There's no question about it.
Give everybody an opportunity to get long on Palantir. So hopefully some of you did that. We actually talked about that trade yesterday with Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends, and we both agreed, man, this 50-period moving average could be something. It's still right here. So if you do like the trade, I don't think you missed anything there on Palantir. I'm not buying anything. I didn't buy anything today. I'm not planning on doing that. The last buy, non-tech name, we did it live on the show. We actually talked about that because remember I had that pre-market order to get filled at 650 that didn't fill, and then I thought I was looking at my account, I was like it didn't fill, and then canceled there. It was a pre-market only order, and then we were able to get long at 639. We just went in there and marketed in once we realized that, and there's the move there on Eli Lilly. So again, just trying to diversify a little bit. We also want to put money back into the S&P 500, and then I was actually debating. I was dip buying Berkshire for a very, very long time, and then we stopped doing it for a minute. But now I'm like thinking about getting back on that tip right now because Berkshire's had a nice move down right into there. Like I said, we hadn't bought any of this. We were more down into here when the rest of the market was trying to think about ripping up and Berkshire wasn't. And then we had like, oh yeah, we're so smart. And then all of a sudden we get the news that I didn't think would really affect the stock. And this red candle there was the announcement of the inevitable that a 95-year-old was stepping away finally. And then this happened. And then we realized that Berkshire was sitting on $345 billion of cash. And then we realized that they put out some of that cash and they only have 5 million shares or so, or maybe it was 3 million shares of UNH. So they're still sitting on a wad of cash. And I'm sure you're going to find out that maybe they were in there potentially buying some of those names here today. We'll find out. But I still think if you're looking at the market and you want to say what Berkshire has been versus the S&P 500, you could stock overlay. Maybe I'll do that on the e-signal charts. But Berkshire and the S&P 500 have been going neck and neck. The S&P 500 has outperformed Berkshire over the last 25 years. So, there's that. But right now, Berkshire is well underneath. The S&P 500, the SPY, is at their all-time highs right now. I mean, you're going to have, we all know the last 2 days, okay? But at the end of it all, there it is. You're all the way up here right now. If you go back 2 days, you're at all-time highs. Meanwhile, Berkshire is, I can't do BRK.B. There, I got to go NY again, is nowhere near some of these levels. So I feel like there's some value to definitely be had right there in Berkshire.
There's probably some kind of a trade that exists.
Yeah, like
if Berkshire gets X amount, away from the performance over the last 90 days of the S&P 500, it's probably just been historically a ridiculously good buy.
Yeah.
Little things like that. That's the kind of thing you got to task the algo group to do. Or, anytime I have a thought like that.
Oh, just ask Sharif. He'll ask Perplexity.
No. I casually mention it on Friday to Michael Noss. And then he just runs all these studies, and then next thing you know, every now and then this is what he'll.
Right. He'll put in his mind, and then he'll think about it, and he'll do it.
Yeah, because. I mean, ultimately, you never really know. And maybe you've just wanted some confluence as to why you might buy Berkshire. There was an old trade like this in, it doesn't hold true anymore. Like Boeing, if you looked at Boeing versus Airbus, basically if you were in a bull market, you always wanted to be long Boeing. And relative to Airbus would always have better performance, and when you were in a bear market, Airbus would outperform Boeing, and you could just go back and forth between those two. That doesn't. Thank you, Boeing, very much.
Boeing
for all
might
of your
be a great
troubles,
bid
because it stopped. Obviously, it stopped working when Boeing started having major troubles of their own. It just wasn't that easy comparison, unfortunately. But Boeing's actually having a good day today.
I was going to say, I think Boeing could be one of those names that you wind up buying on any dips. And I think we just got a nice little dip there on Boeing. Again, EPS keeps climbing. We joke about it, but it's a monopolistic opportunity with Boeing. I mean, you're not just all of a sudden going to say, I'm in the plane business. That's not like you can't you can't get any of the licenses. You can't just produce planes that have hundreds of millions of people yearly on them. But anyways, there it goes. So Boeing right now, I think you want to buy any dips and look at this 200 period. This goes all the way back to April, obviously, as we had. I mean, most things from April are up quite nice, but this is a good one there. I'm not sure what the dividend remains on Boeing, but right there, 220, not a horrible spot there for Boeing. So I would think that you want to buy something if it comes back in. So that's another name, not quite down 10% from its high. But Boeing in bear territory, pull this thing back to 2 bills. I am a buyer of Boeing. It's funny because I had a bid down here at one, honestly, hand to
God.
I don't want to say that because there's some religious people in here, but you know, hand to God. We had a bid at 125. I promise you that on Boeing, and we just got missed there.
You say it's a monopoly
on those. It is a monopoly. Yeah.
You say it's a barrier to entry.
Yes.
Denied. I got a prototype right here of Air Roberts, and what we're going to do is we're going to start building, and we're going to have high-quality controls, and you can invest in this new venture. As you can see, it's very slick. It's a new thing because you tear, so you don't want to have straight edges.
Right. I would definitely fly on that thing.
So that's what you need to do. And what we're going to be able to do is we're going to make sure that we pay our staff while they're boarding the plane. Perfect. Not just start the clock, Air Canada, when the doors close and your flight attendants have been working for an hour and a half.
That's the most stupidest thing
It's like the dumbest thing ever, Air Canada, figure it out. But that's what we're going to do. So there you go. No, well, I'm obviously ridiculously joking. There is, but if you did want to know,
there goes AMD.
Embraer is actually an opportunity. They're much, much smaller out of Brazil, and they have a chance for some growth.
Boy.
We wanted an alternative.
Yeah, Embraer, yeah, that's another good one there. But oh boy.
Oh my God.
Turned that in my ear for some reason. So there it goes, 165er. Good trade there on AMD. So, I mean, this is the thing. We had actually Nimit here. He was talking. It's a funny guy. He's like, Sean, if you ever enter a trade, he said this, Brendan was there. He's like, he's done the math. He's like, if you ever enter a trade that you've already made money on and you enter that near the afternoon, it is, I don't know, he was saying like crazy percentages that were successful. I don't know if it was true. It was in the 90s. But there's AMD, my #1 stock today. And here's AMD right now. And so again, just to answer questions in the chat, because we always get them, and it's just like, what does 10 cents do for you? What does 20 cents do? What does 30 cents do? And maybe absolutely nothing at all. But you can hold or get out of any of these trades whenever you want. I think the best thing to do if you're just trying to follow us or listen to us right now is to look at some of the trades that we have and see if it makes sense for you. And then you figure out your own outs. Because like if I only have a few shares, I'm not going to have like 30 outs right here, but we're just getting out piece by piece as it goes up. We're getting paid. We're sitting on the offer. We're adding liquidity. We're getting paid fees for those trades as well. And then there it goes, right back up in here into 165. So we went long on this break. We talked about a strong stock in AMD today. Obviously, it's only down 1%, but it was down a heck of a lot more, strong into the afternoon, and there it goes. So yeah, happy to be doing this on AMD for all of you, and just talking about trading again here live. So take out profits wherever you guys want to and where you see fit, but for everybody, we'll have a little bit of a different path to success and a roadmap for your trades. And like right there, we got out of a little bit of a piece there at 165, and there it comes right back in a little bit. So for me, missing that dime or whatever is maybe potentially a big big deal or not, but you're going to have to use your own support and resistance areas. And I just hope that Neil and I can give some, like I said, some fun times, some good trades, and good feels. And I think that's what we're doing. So there it goes. Nice move there on advanced micro devices. Let's see if it will carry the day here, maybe even further into the close. But now there's only 2 minutes left before we get those imbalances.
Yeah, and when I see we're that close to the imbalances, any tick down, forget about a break-even stop. Was in at 53. My stop was at 50 on Uber, but it just broke down in here through the 3/4. And with 90 seconds to go to the imbalances, I'm just going to make sure I cancel some scripts. I don't want you to stop. I had a stop order on Hertz still. Jedi, thank you very much for the super chat. Please, could you check out Bilibili? Any thoughts prior to earnings? We can. Only have a minute to go. I tell you right now, I'm not, without even looking at the chart, I did look at it this morning. I wasn't a gigantic fan. In this particular case. Thank you. There we go. I want this chart to actually finish loading up. It's just it's having a bit of a moment. Sometimes in the afternoon, it's probably more my PC than anything else. I do think. Most of the names that are at harsh resistance levels, I get a little bit nervous of this earnings season, especially with the, what's the word I want to use, with the tense way the market was the last couple of days off of some of those tops. When you're at a hard resistance level, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult when you had some of the weakness in the last couple of days. I like the way the market's closing today. I think that bodes really well, but that is it's a pretty hefty seller that very clearly has held the top. If you look at what's been going on in Bilibili, like something like you can see it here at 25.5. There's a seller, there's a seller, there's a seller. And when that happens going into earnings and it's so distinct like that, I get very, very skeptical and just think somebody has a pretty good idea of what's going to come through. It's not, look, this is not the kind of thing that is going to be overly predicted necessarily, but that makes me nervous just from the setup. Clearly someone for the last 3 days has been holding the stock from breaking the highs. And even today, like it's no follow through at the highs of the day. A couple of seconds to go to the imbalances. Maybe that's not what you wanted to hear, but that's just what I saw on the chart. So what do we got here as the imbalances pop out? Nvidia, 1.4 million to the buy side. Apple, 1.2 million to the buy side. You'd mentioned GM, it's still 1 million to the buy side. That's it's about Peloton. Who cares about Peloton to sell 900,000? That's not moving anything. Schwab is a buy of 700,000. Just a couple of Mag 7 names. Nvidia and Apple. Yeah, and that's about PCG. I don't really. 2.9 million on PCG isn't nothing, but that's a $15 stock. It's probably not even moving that much. PCG, yeah, literally didn't move. Right, so there you go. Not that significant on PCG. That's been in the news before, but never for good reasons, it seems.
Yeah, I just put a bid right here on, or not a bid, sorry, a stop order on our friend for now anyways, AMD. If this breaks through 164.80 to the downside, we're going to get out of that one. So just setting up our keys. It did blast through 165, so we'll see if it wants to go there. We'll give it one more shot just to see if it wants to do that. It looks like, you know, we are going to do that and give it that shot. So hopefully we can find out some results here soon to see if this name wants to go or not. 165 and change, we'll give it 20 cents. This is what these imbalances look like as Neil just highlighted it. Looks like Nvidia will be the one with the greatest opportunity here because that's 1.5 million, but just touch up to 175. Remember, Nvidia coming in a couple days now, 4 more market days. And then, of course, we have the whole of Jackson coming through very, very soon. That's on Thursday, Fred's tomorrow. Thursday, Friday, we'll start hearing some talk there as they all gather in Jackson Hole, which I think is it's not in Oklahoma, is it?
Wyoming.
Wyoming, that's what it is. And so we'll hear, you know, what's going on with that.
That's an American state I couldn't actually point out on a map.
Wyoming?
Yeah, I'm decent with them, but I couldn't tell you. Like, if you showed me a map, I couldn't actually point out Wyoming, believe it or not.
West? Yeah.
I have a general idea where it is, but.
Thanks so much for all the talk. Like, everyone's really enjoying the show, and we want to thank all of you for that. I mean, we're trying to. Okay, there we go. We got stopped out of AMD as it did go. Oops, sorry. Why am I on Nvidia when I have AMD shares?
Nvidia's pairing off too.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to say that we're going to be talking more about some, macro things and what the market's been doing during the afternoon. And Neil and I, of course, will be looking for trades that we think we can put on. And I think we did a very, very good job here this afternoon of doing exactly that with AMD, with Uber, with Palantir. And that's about it, man. We didn't have too much else. We did talk about IBIT and Bitcoin. That's holding that 114. That's what we're looking for. It looks like that can maybe finally get into that level and hold there. So that's a 114 print coming for Bitcoin. So good on that. If that winds up holding, I think that'll be a success story. And then Google holding the 200. I mean, tomorrow's trade today, I want to look at Google tomorrow. It's holding up right now. Google is holding up in and around that $200 mark. Again, a name that we like in this space. I think it's an AI, it's a quantum, it's an everything kind of play. I like Google. It's AWS, cloud storage. Obviously, they're not AWS, that's Amazon, but Google Cloud still remains pretty strong. So yeah, I like, again, any kind of down move. I think we can buy some more Google, and I like some Eli Lilly as well. Looks like our AMD stop out had to happen because I didn't want it to break lower, but you're still at 165. Good trading there for Google today. And then Walmart comes tomorrow. So I think that's the biggest earnings play that we'll be talking about tomorrow at the big desk. Join us all tomorrow.
Oh, it won't be close.
8:30 a.m.
Walmart is the big one, no questions asked. It's everything, right? It's a bellwether for the market. It's going to tell you a little bit about passing on any potential inflationary costs to the consumers. I love the company. It's a little bit overpriced. Like, not a cheap PE either. So we'll get a sense of how the market can react to it. Because even if they beat, they're still expensive. Even if they beat, but they beat all the time. And let's be real, some people like to swing trade around earnings season, and Trade the Pool's got something new. Really? And it's special just for traders like yourselves. A free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage risk, and what setups they rely on, so you can learn and grow from what actually works. Download it now by scanning the QR code you see on the screen or hitting the link in the description. And shout out to Trade the Pool. Thank them for that. Shout out to Mitch as well. Shout out to Raheem, who we had on this. Shout out to Joe for stepping in for Adara in the aftermarket show tonight, where we will certainly discuss this crazy V-shaped recovery in AMD, Palantir. Circle was much bigger a move than I expected. Bullish with its first bullish day since coming to market.
What is it? How much is that up today?
Well, it's up.
Oh, there goes AMD.
It literally didn't take much because it just had to be up to have its best day. So it's up 5%, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's actually, you bought it at the open and you didn't lose, or you bought it at the close yesterday and you didn't lose. So that's a first for this stock. How much it can sustain, I'm really not sure, because I felt like the timing of this one was not very good. And thank you, everybody. I will now never forget how to pick out Wyoming on a map, because it is a square. It's the most square state, so it'll be really easy to see. I'm actually pretty good with, like, if you gave me a map, I'd do pretty good. I'm not going to get all of them, but for a Canadian, I bet you, I'm willing to bet money that I would crush the average Canadian being able to fill out a map of U.S. states. I've never been, obviously.
I mean, as long as the other people don't know where Wyoming is, you'll be.
But I do now.
You'll be fine.
I do. That wow, Nvidia. Did that pair off all the way? I guess.
I mean, by the way, AMD is, oh boy. Like I said, man, we put our stop in, and having nightmares right now about that stop. There it goes, straight up to the upside. But you know what? At the end of the day, we're just trying to give you something to put on the barbecue. And I mean, if you did that and you let AMD sort of just chill out right there, there it goes, man. It's $1 now in the money from that from our dip buy, and there it goes. So again, nice move at the end of the day. Just learning more every day about this market, right? It's been a volatile one, and you can get these plays, right, over and over again. And like we had said, trade what you like, trade your feelings, and we did that, and there it goes, man. AMD, we were feeling the long, and we had it, and it was a good trade as we stacked up there on AMD, but there it goes, man. Nvidia, I believe, is the king, as you guys say that almost in the chat. AMD's almost green right now as well. We can go back over to Palantir probably and see what that's doing. There goes King Meta as well, up to 750. I mean, this name, that's probably going right back to all-time highs. We talked about that as well. And again, just believe in the Nasdaq, right? There goes Palantir up 1%. Again, look, earnings were good. We have President Trump clearly dealing with this tariff situation and doing pretty well, as we're way up from now those liberation lows, obviously. Even up from where we talked about, as this market was going. Even just look at the SPY, just how well this has been doing. The Dow Jones at all-time highs. We've got some clarification. Hopefully UNH maybe has found a bottom. That would help out the Dow as well. We're in a rate cut environment, right? We just saw 85% chance, or 83%, 83 I think it was, percent chance of rate cuts. Right now, there's a lot of 81 now. There's a lot of bullish situations in the market right now. So I don't know. Stay tuned for I think what is going to be higher highs.
83. 85 to 81 to 83. No matter what the Fed says and no matter what the language sounds like, the market still says we're getting a cut in September. Even if it sounds less like it after the Fed minutes today than before, it doesn't really make a difference. I just feel like you're setting up for something with the money markets. If they get it wrong, we could see a little bit more violence in the September move than we're used to, which is tune in that day, because it's much more exciting when you have something that the markets might have mispriced.
Look at AM.
Usually they have it absolutely right. I got to get up to the desk, make sure we're locked and loaded. Thank you to Joey Options.
Thanks, Joey.
I thought you made a good trade today also. Not just AMD, but I really
JJ. Yeah. I mean, I only had 2 quarterbacks, so I don't think it charged that much for me there. I was looking. It wasn't. It didn't look like it was blasting. Oh, how much? 24%. Okay, we'll take it. He was using my charger right there. Yeah, look at what AMD just did, by the way, guys. And again, thank you so much for everything today. 1 minute until U.S. market close. What a wild day, honestly. Like, I think AMD is my #1 stock here today. There's the short, there's the long, and boom, goes the dynamite. Shout out to my good friend Nimit as well for pointing out that stick with the stocks that you know. If you've traded it early, trade it late. Thank you so much. Look at all the love here in the chat. Look, I love that you guys are putting great show, but just hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Thank you so much. Raid into here. Great show as always, says Giovanna. Thank you so much for that talk as well and all that. Thanks, my guys. Here we go. Who's this now?
Even open it up on multiple tabs. That really helps.
Yeah, open up on multiple tabs. Yeah, do
like at least 10 minimum.
We talked about dogs and all that kind of stuff. Animals would like to watch us. I know my dog likes to watch.
Hey Siri, like tradertv.live. Subscribe to tradertv.live.
Thank you for saying that. Is the countdown automated? I have to press the button. Okay, well, we'll do it right now. With only 10 seconds left. There it is right now. You have to actually push it with a little bit more than 10 seconds because of all that. 6-5. This is brought to you by VinFast. There's the closing bell. 3, 2, and 1. The market is now closed. We want to thank everybody. And of course, normally this is brought to you by VinFast. Scan that QR code. Find out what they're doing over there, VFS. But yeah, we are going through all the renovations. We have a wicked setup, obviously, for our bell. But for right now, it's not going on. The TVs are off over there, Fabian. So we're going to wait. There's nothing too crazy to do right now for the after hours. Let's just see what Target wound up doing. Andre, just let me know in my ear when you guys get the okay for that. Target winds up only down 6.4%. That was down almost 10%. Actually, that was down 10% today as we have the E there showing that we did go SSR today on Target. So yuck on that one. Battles back all the way back up. A nice 4% take on the way up. For me, the craziest stock today obviously is Palantir. You're going to hear all about this from Neil and Joe just momentarily. But Palantir top to bottom today, that was a $14 move. Right there, top to bottom on PLTR. All right, this closing show is brought to you by Beta Pro and Global X. If we're ready, Andre, from everybody here today. Sharif, thank you so much. Adara, hope she's feeling well. Fabian's over there. Ramin, Joe and Neil getting ready to go. Everybody, Brendo, thank you so much. I'm back tomorrow at 8:30, so I've got this to say for you. It's ciao for now.
It's ciao for now. As these shirts are oddly more alike than I realized.
I just recognized that.
Okay, well, until I see it on the program monitor, it doesn't have. It's your market recap brought to you by Beta Pro, by Globex. Thank you very much there, Sean. I know you ended with Palantir, but it's hard to talk about today without talking about the V-shaped recovery that you saw in, I don't know, like pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Well, everything except for Intel. We started the morning off with a big-time continuation of the fear, the market top concerns, which we'll get into more in depth because you haven't really bounced that far from some of these highs. And it seemed like, oh, we've made the turn. This is where the sell-off is. What's going to happen? This is not looking good. Is the bull market over? All of that stuff is running through your heads ahead of Jackson Hole, ahead of Fed meeting minutes here today, which still seemed like maybe they don't want to cut rates. And yet through all of that, at the end of the day, Palantir was making new highs. Nvidia was making almost green, I believe. AMD, super strong, breaking back out. The Qs got back to the top. Maybe not the entirety of the move, but the dip buy remained intact for today.
You know what, Neil? It just screams bull market, and we've been experiencing this since those April lows, and it's absolutely fantastic to see buyers step in. And it's only been a couple of days of selling, but that opening drive was extremely weak, and I'm like, uh-oh, have the tides turned here? But I believe this AI trade is just adding so much of a tailwind to this overall market. It's hard to continuously sell it off, and especially sell some of these mega cap names.
I agree with you. Here's what I'm looking at right now. And just in Palantir in particular, because let's try to remember. Earlier in the year, February to be exact, Palantir was in the 120s. And they got all the way underneath $70. But if you look at the first monster day down, this is the first big red. Happened to be at the top. In this particular case, the biggest sell day was not the high on Palantir. But if you look at that monster day, which was its worst day of the year, I think percentage-wise, the following day was a very robust bounce. But what happened was a trend back into the downside. Now, if you're talking about what has happened historically, oftentimes, when we have these kind of panic sell days, huge percentages down, you get a relief rally.
Yep.
It's what comes next that is the most important.
Very much so.
When you've held the 50 period on a swath of stocks, Microsoft held the 50 period today, Palantir held the 50 period today, Meta probably did as well. Off the top of my head is what I'm thinking about. If we immediately lose them tomorrow, then this was all for naught unless you're a day trader.
You know what, though? I like our chances here, Neil, because I'm looking at the Qs here on the daily, and there's some buying pressure stepping back into this market. You can see that we close as a hammer right there at some key support levels as well, too, at $560 on the Qs. So I do like our chances of another rebound day coming in tomorrow. And I mean, anything can happen. But one thing that I want to note here, as you just were touching on Microsoft, after that earnings report, it continuously sold off, and now we finally have snapped this uptrend right here. So I'm curious to see if Microsoft decides that it wants to turn things around. I think the market's going to rebound with it for sure.
Well, see, that's the other. A stock like Microsoft is a good example of it. Even though it bounced off the 50 period, let's just say, it's very clearly broken the uptrend.
Yep.
And its uptrend was, well, first of all, the uptrend was comical on Microsoft. Like, I don't know that it's been a long time since I've seen the type of buying on the daily. And when it got away from this just boringly steady move, look at the way it's moving now.
Yeah, exactly.
Something is very different on that stock. And I think that's why I'm a little bit, I'm going to say the word over under a lot tomorrow morning. I can already feel it on the show because I will sit here and say I'll respect the fact that we bounced the 50 period moving average. And as long as it's over there, I'll look for the longs. But if we lose it, I want no part of it. You had to be nimble today. I think you're going to have to be even more nimble tomorrow. If we start thinking about like some of the moves that we could anticipate for tomorrow, I look at the IWM here.
Okay.
Let's be real for a second. If you read those Fed meeting minutes, everything in there. Like now they're talking about inflation is a bigger indicator or more important to them than the labor market. Okay, well, what did we just have? We had the first shoe to drop in weakness in the labor market and a bunch of revisions, which made it look incredibly weak.
With the consumer weakening as well, too.
Exactly. And then but then on the inflation side, we had CPI, which was meh, but then it was a PPI number, which shocked everybody. So that was kind of back and forth. But I remember learning something in economics, and that's when you do have weakness in the overall economy, the labor market starts slow and then it just evaporates. Like that's the one that it doesn't look like it's that bad until it's too late. So for the Fed to come out and say, we're on the inflation tip more than the labor market, To me, that signals that they don't want to cut yet. Yet the market's still pricing in at an 83% chance we're getting a September cut. And if the market has that wrong, the IWM is toast. Absolutely toast.
Absolutely toast, and I agree with you. So we got to keep our eye on non-farm payrolls, initial jobless claims. But I want to bring up that point, Neil, how the market is still pricing in cuts. But I remember at the start of QT, quantitative tightening, the market was still pricing in about 6 to 8 cuts in that same year, which was absolutely insane. And it started off with 25 basis points, 50 basis points, 50 basis points, and the market was still pricing in these cuts. So are we a little bit excited, and is it going to come? As Neil just mentioned, we got to keep our eye out on some of these data points, and I believe for that September rate cut, it was in the 90th percentile, but now it's starting to drop off a little bit in the high 80s there, Neil.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be one of the more fun interest rate decisions in September. Before we get to that, look, there's a lot to cover. There's a couple of things I wanted to go over here. We actually have a few small earnings that have come out, so just let me get this out of the way, because I don't know if anybody is interested in True Golf Holdings, but for the record, this is like, when you see a chart like this, I'm going to read this. Look at the chart. This is nasty. Their EPS, they lost $4.63 per share, missing 94 cents is the estimate. Their sales were 4.3 million, missing a 6.7% estimate, which is probably why the chart looks exactly like this, which is absolutely nasty. Yeah, so it's small names and earnings. There's nothing big until tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning we get Walmart, which is absolutely gigantic. That's going to be a big one. But where I wanted to go and where I wanted to go next was, look, you're a Bitcoin. Well, I mean, you're a crypto guy.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Bitcoin guy than I am.
Well, yeah, I would say so myself, right? I would say with the bigger names, not necessarily the speculative meme coins and everything along those lines.
Okay, so look, we had a little bit of a pullback, and you look at ETH. ETH technically looked pretty good, bouncing off prior highs here today. So that's, I mean, generally that's what you want to see. But a lot of what seemed like the froth was coming into the market wasn't just AI. We had the Circle IPO. We had the bullish IPO.
Absolutely.
We had Crypto Week. We've had the squeeze and the run of all the treasury plays and
the pass of the axe.
The pass of the axe. So I mean, ETH going pretty much because of the stablecoin game. Look, that feels toppish, and my gut is telling me, is it really going to be as good as a dip buy as, say, the AI space, where I kind of know what the there is.
I think that's a great question, Neil. And I think a lot of what we're going to experience in a potential additional rally here in the crypto space is if we get that rate cut. If we don't get that rate cut, then I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be hit the hardest, maybe next to the small caps. But if we do, I would not be surprised if we see an additional rally in some of these names like Ethereum and Bitcoin. So that's what I'm going to be keeping my eye out on personally. I think there can be a little bit more fuel to Ethereum's fire currently. We know things rotate quite often. And I think it's time to rotate into Ethereum just because of all the acts that have passed. And then you have Bitmine Immersion, who's just buying this stuff hand over fist, strategy style. And they're also, but the benefit of this is the yield. I think that's the beautiful thing about the Ethereum token, is that the yield that it can generate. And I mean, if like Tom Lee with Bitmine Immersion, if he's bringing in $100 million in net income just from a yield, he's just going to buy more Ethereum, and that's going to generate a larger yield. So I'm a big fan of what we got going on with it right now.
Well, I like to hear that. I don't have much Ethereum, but I do have some. So I do like. I'm still of that mind. I'm not as completely convinced, but I will. I saw a good comment in here that I wanted to get to. It was the Lord of Swords in the chat. Good name there, for sure. Now I got to find it again. CPI was not hot, and PPI is not as important as CPI.
I mean,
you know. So here's the thing. Well, based on what you already heard me rant, I kind of agree with that. But what's more concerning, it's not necessarily that's the issue. It's what the Fed they just flat out came out and said that they're like, it doesn't matter what we think. The Fed just told you that they're more interested or more concerned with inflation than they are with the labor market.
Absolutely.
And to me, when you say you're data dependent, how data dependent are you if if one was more concerning than the other in our last set of prints, then how can you be data dependent if you're caring more about inflation? Which, as you said, now puts squarely the pressure on any jobs data that we get in the next few weeks, because they're not going to be able to ignore it if it gets worse. I'll tell you that right now.
Absolutely. And one thing to note here as well, too, Neil, is that I think it was a common narrative in some of these earnings reports, even though they were absolutely fantastic, but you've seen that, hey, there's a lot of tariff uncertainty along those lines. And if we do experience a higher print in inflation, how are we going to react to that specifically? So that's what I'm really curious to see as well, too. And have we felt the full effects? Even though the current administration is striking deals left, right, and center, have we felt the full effects of the tariff turmoil that we've been going through just yet? And I'm not too sure. So I'm curious to see what we got in a couple more prints, and then what the Fed thinks about it as well, too.
Yeah, I agree. What's hilarious, I saw in the chat here, I like this one, because it should be. If we're only going to be data, this is from, hey, Neil, shout out the person with the cool comment. So Jack B. Nimble in the chat. If we're only going to be data dependent, can we just use AI to determine if we should cut or not? Forget the subjective vendettas. Don't get me into a rant about
just asking AI.
Well, yes. But I'm going to say this. I don't think I've said this on the show, but I'm just going to say it one time, and then don't say it's tinfoil hat. If you're a free market, if you believe in the free markets, right? Which I think a lot of you, if you like the markets, you probably believe in free markets as a principle. I know that I do. Then why is it that the most important thing in our current market is, the money supply and the creation of money, which is the creation of debt, which is regulated by the interest rate, right? So the single most important free-floating aspect of the market is the money supply and interest rates. And what is the one thing that is not driven by the free markets? The price of.
You got me beat on that one.
The amount of money created and interest rates.
There we go.
So literally, the foundation of the free market economy is the thing that is not allowed to float free. It is determined by men in a room. Does that make sense to anybody? It never made sense to me, and I got dismissed is the wrong word. What's the best way to put it? When I brought it up to an economics professor in university, he kind of blew it off, and I think he was right to do so, because I don't think anyone understands why that's the case. I know I certainly don't. If anyone has a really good answer to that, then just please let me know for sure. But let's go. I want to talk about Nvidia and AMD for a quick little second.
Absolutely.
And let's shift gears to the chips, because Nvidia reports in a week.
Yep.
And really, you keep hearing about, AI, blah, 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 it's a bubble. Certainly Sam Altman came out simply saying that this is too frothy. Even he's talking about it's a bubble, and spending has got out of hand and gotten too out in front of itself.
Yeah.
Well, Nvidia, to me, is the leader of that pack. And I know we had this nice hammer candle reversal.
Yep.
But don't tell me somebody hasn't been doing something up there before we had this dip. Like, we saw Nvidia hold at 184 for days in a row. That's the kind of thing that gets the gears thinking. I'm not convinced. Just because we had a V shape today, I'd love to know who was buying, and are they still buying in here tomorrow? Because we've seen time and time again Nvidia on earnings impress us, but not impress us as much as we'd like with the performance of the stock. And if Nvidia doesn't impress us with stock performance when they report next week, this is not going to be good for a market that's at the top. I don't think we are in a place where we can handle Nvidia not breaking the highs. That's just my 2 cents. I don't like the cues if Nvidia can't make a new high next week.
No, I agree with you a bit there, Neil, because at the end of the day, we experienced in 23 the exponential growth that NVDA went through. It was absolutely phenomenal across the reports. But one thing that I want to note is that the CapEx in some of these mega cap names and the hyperscalers has not cooled off, yet they're increasing capital expenditures. So for me, until I see a cool down in CapEx, I think this AI trade has plenty of room to go. Google increasing CapEx, you have Microsoft, and then you have Amazon as well too, and most definitely Meta. grabbing talent across the board from every developer they can essentially get their hands on, and then paying them amazing, massive signing bonuses. And for me personally, as long as that CapEx stays elevated, I think that this AI trade is going to continue to grow. And then not only with NVDA going to the Gulf countries as well too, and striking deals with Qatar and the Saudis, I think that there's a lot of room for this trade to go. And they're lagging, so I would not be surprised if they're undershooting their estimates on how much capital expenditure they're going to put forth to kind of build their AI infrastructure.
Well, I certainly hope it continues. One of the things that concerned me a little bit, I trimmed some GE Vernova. I just felt like there's with the energy names in particular, your GE Vernovas, your Vistras, to a smaller extent, your SMRs, your NNEs in here. When I pull up a weekly chart, like to me, this is a stock that usually wouldn't move like this. And it's already, like on a weekly, this has been pulling back. So there's a certain sense of, okay, so we're still getting more data center growth, and which you think should support this, but we made a top. Like this made a top before Nvidia made a top. And I don't wonder if it's not a little bit of a signal that despite the fact that things are still trending in the right way, there's still some profit taking coming in. I'm not just saying this because I sold some GE Vernova. I did, just bringing it up because it makes the point. But I want to flip to you for a question here. So everything you just said, I know that should make you bullish, right? On Nvidia. But what about AMD? AMD didn't come anywhere near the top. Had just as impressive a run. It also got good news that it looks like they're going to be able to sell chips back into
308 too.
So they had to pay 15%. Who cares? At the end of the day, you pay 15% on something versus making nothing and just having a bunch of chips just sit there and and you have to write them down. So I think that's positive news for AMD. Their past earnings, they couldn't get through the top. If you believe in AMD, if you believe in Nvidia, does that extend to AMD, which hasn't really captured? Everyone's betting they're going to capture more of the market share, but hasn't really done so. I think it's a prove it market, and I'd feel better about Nvidia, which continues to at least prove it, regardless of how they perform after earnings. They continue to prove it. AMD, on the other hand, hasn't yet.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree with you there, but I think a lot of it's going to have to do with the MI 400 when that's coming out in 2026. I think that can drive a lot of AMD, and then also they're heavily involved in Stargate as well too, so that can contribute to the rally. So I think that AMD, considering that its previous all-time high was around $225, and it was lagging its peer, as other semi names were climbing higher, and you have the likes of Broadcom starting to lead in that race as well too. AMD played catch up with momentum and fierce. So I like what they have. And to mention what Lisa Sue has going on, the gaming sector is picking up as well too, even though that's not necessarily a needle mover. It's taking share from Intel's chips because they're heavy in the gaming as well too. But I think a lot of it's going to rotate around what we got going on with Stargate.
I will tell you right now, if Lisa got an invite to the White House the way Jensen did and then had that nice talk, this stock would have already hit the high, I believe. Like that's an advantage for Nvidia.
Absolutely.
It certainly is. Now, part of that has to do with the big Nvidia's got more juice when it comes to let's be real. China and the U.S. are trying to make a deal.
Exactly.
And you know it's rare earth metals and it's Nvidia chips, not AMD chips. It's rare earth metals and it's Nvidia chips.
Absolutely.
And that's what a lot of it comes down to. And I think if that was not the case, I'd probably sing some more praises of AMD for sure. But you know what? There's another thing, just to maybe continue down that line, as we were joking around. Maybe we were joking too much about how bad Intel is. The other side of the coin is we just got more news today that not just Intel, because the U.S. government considering taking a stake in Intel using chip fund, the CHIPS Act funds, but the idea that could possibly extend to other firms that got CHIPS Act money and wanted to take a stake after the fact. You know, that could be your Microns, your obviously Intel, but your global foundries. That seemed like a bit of an overstep. I know personally, if you're, like I said, if you're a free market person, you get a little bit iffy about that. I think it's a positive for the stocks, but I don't wonder if that's the kind of thing that would rankle a few feathers.
I think it would, right? It depends what they're going to do. Are they kind of going to go globally and expand who they're going to allow them to sell chips to? I think that's going to be really important, especially in the likes of Intel. Donald Trump looking to take a 10% stake in it as well. I think a lot of it is how they're going to expand their customer base and then maybe even sell some of these lesser chips to the likes of China and some other countries. But they're allowing Blackwells into the Gulf countries and everything along those lines. So, I mean, at the end of the day, as I mentioned before, I think this AI trade has some time to run. Even though we're experiencing somewhat of a pullback here, I think a couple of years, and I think we're really in the early stages of this AI trade as well too. Yeah.
Ooh, I like this one right here. Maybe I get some time off. Thank you. So, we have a poll right here that I'm assuming I can't even see. I think it's Fabian over there. You can see how dark it is.
It's Fabian.
And there's a camera in my way, so I think it's Fabian. More Joe on the recap.
How are the votes going?
I'm going to vote for yes.
Ooh.
Y'all want to see Joe and Adara every now and then?
Yeah, we see.
Joe Dara?
Joe Dara.
Joe Dara?
Yeah, Joe
what?
Dara.
It's 91%. Love the perspective.
Hey, we'll
he's not just, look, he's not just Joey option. He's not just Joey chill. He's not just Joey runway. He is also Joey analysis.
Ooh.
I don't even like that.
We'll find
I'll
something.
figure out a better one for that.
We'll
that one
figure
kind
it
of
out.
stinks.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, Joe Dara, why not? That's the best thing about the team. It's the reason why the team works is the reason why the community is so great. Different perspective, different ideas. I see you guys in the chat all the time discussing levels, stock plays, going back and forth. And you know what? Every now and then, like, see people disagreeing with each other, and it's like you get a little bit heated. You want to have disagreement.
You want that.
You want to have discussion.
Absolutely.
You want to have another side of the coin. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, we're not going to learn anything only ever talking to people that shake our heads and agree with everything and sit there and love every point.
And that's the beauty of it too, right? During our news segment, during the midday, we get to go back and forth with Adara all the time as well too, and Sharif, and it's glad because we don't want all yes men at the end of the day. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. No, we're going to speak our opinion and how we truly feel about things, and we don't always agree, and that's the nature of it. You don't want us to be more robotic and yes, we all agree with each other. What fun is that at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's not fun at all. And that's the thing. And that's the reality. Some people are going to think Palantir is overvalued. Some people are going to like it. Is there a right or a wrong? Price will tell you. Some situations you might have someone who doesn't eat apple pie, and that's just wrong, obviously objectively, but that's okay because nobody's perfect and it's okay. We think it's absolutely fine.
But speaking of Palantir though, Neil, more commercial contracts, more government contracts, and now they're striking deals in Japan. I think that's going to be great for this name to continue on the growth cycle that it's been on.
Look, I think it will. I'm not completely convinced that the pullback is done.
Even with what you're seeing right now.
That said, here's the point. Because I come back to the dip in February, right? Now, oops, I'm on a weekly instead of a daily. The point I was making, if you were just tuning in, my point on Palantir was when it had that last double-digit day to the downside, it was followed by a hammer up day and then a resumption of essentially flushing. It opened up at the prior day high and eventually failed. So to me, it gets real simple tomorrow on Palantir, right? Yes, today's high will effectively be almost flat, right around where it closed, 157.75, 157. At the open, if the first thing we do is fail that break, I'm looking short.
You're looking short?
If the opening range holds above 158, I'm thinking long all day on Palantir.
Big time recovery.
And I'm keeping it really, really simple because that's what happened last time in February. So why not look for the same thing? And if you get Palantir in the right direction early,
it's gonna go. It's trading correctly throughout the whole day. Absolutely, it's a beautiful trade. You know what, Neil? Excuse me, so I agree here. I wouldn't be surprised if we experience an inside day as well too, because the range on today's candle is quite large, right? So you have a low of around 142 and then a high of around 155. I mean, that's about $12, $13 that we're experiencing in a move here. So I wouldn't be surprised, but as long as we hold that 143 low, I'm going to look for a rebound in this. And you guys mentioned this here on your segment as well. You're almost down 20% in this name. So could you be getting somewhat of a bounce here? And that's exactly why I'm going to look for 142s to hold. Because if it does, I like my chances there for sure.
And because, of course, 42 is the meaning of life, everybody. Isn't it amazing? 42 is the meaning of life. 420 is a number that stocks seem to always want to respect. I'm not making a thing out of it. It's just true. Like, the number of times that those two digits as a day trader come up as support and resistance, it's hilarious. It's almost like a point of confluence. If it happens to be breaking a trend.
I didn't know that 42 was the meaning.
Oh my, what?
I didn't know. Did I live in a shoebox? Where does this come from? Where does it derive?
Fabian. And he just yelled it out. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy 42, the number 42 is the meaning of life. I'm just saying.
So, but like, why 42? Why not 47? I like 47 or 50.
Well, you just got to either read the book or watch the movie.
Okay, all right. Oh, okay, it's a book. The Hitchhiker's Guide?
Guide to the Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's
It's
Guide
hilarious. The movie's okay. The book is, I think, fantastic
all right.
for sure. And Save Man Woman, maybe it is a thing. 420 is on people's mind. And Ron Dog, this is another reason. Well, the reason why I love 42, and when I played baseball, I always wore the number 42 when I was able to. Jackie Robinson.
Ooh.
Shout out to Jackie Robinson.
I was 16 my whole career. I wore 16 for as long as I can remember, just due to Darcy Tucker. I'm sure you're familiar with him as a Toronto Maple Leaf. It's just his style of play. So 16, and some more. 16 was my number.
One of our Sean and myself. Sean and I went to high school together. One of our closest friends in our circle is the biggest Darcy Tucker fan you will ever.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, you will ever find.
So,
He's a monster Darcy Tucker fan. And if you don't know, like he was one of those, bring the lunch pail to work for
Darcy. Oh, I never told you. So I was at Wrigley Field on Saturday. I told you I was going to Wrigley, but they also had the air show there as well. So we had the jets flying over Wrigley, and they just shut. I'm sure you've been to Wrigley.
I've been to Wrigley.
Yeah, so they shut the streets down and everything. So it was absolutely a fantastic experience. So I couldn't have been more happy to go and get that full Chicago vibe. It was a really good time.
It's a great city.
It is a great city.
And Havana Woody in the chat called me out. He's like, well, you keep taking your family to Europe. How come you don't see more of the U.S.? You're right. Havana Woody, I do intend. We go to Florida every year for spring training, but then I've been lots of places in the U.S., but my daughter hasn't outside of Florida, so that's one thing I do want to rectify. But we got a few other trips to Europe that we want to get done before we move into that, and I can't believe it's already, we're getting into 4:30.
That time, my friend.
And this, I have to.
Hold on, what's our poll at, though? I need to know these numbers. What do we got percentage-wise
Before we get to the poll, Ian Rispetto for the win. Neil, someone needs to go fetch a sugar cookie before the studio opens again.
Ooh.
I love it. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. That is one of the greatest skits in Chappelle's show. Do you watch Chappelle's show?
Yeah, but I don't remember the sugar cookie one.
They're doing a spoof on Making the Band, where like Puff Daddy or P. Diddy, I guess we'll call him Puff so we don't evoke the other thing. He would always make these ridiculous demands. I'm shutting down the studio unless you do whatever. So in the skit, he's like, you got to go down to whatever Times Square and get the breast milk of a Cambodian. Get me a sugar cookie from somewhere. It's just all some ridiculous nonsense. You got to watch those.
One of my favorite is the Player Haters Ball.
I hate your guts.
Yeah.
I hope all the bad things in the world happen to you and only you and no one else.
The Player Haters Ball, fantastic.
That is absolutely classic. But it's 84%.
Hey, we'll 84%. Take it. That's a big W.
Who are the 16% that don't want to see more Joe on the recap show?
We don't worry about them. That's fine.
You get the Matumbo wave and you get the fail from Fabian. But what you also get, you want to take a shot?
Ooh,
at roll call?
Do I get to do the honors today?
You want to take a shot at roll call?
Absolutely.
Well, Joe's going to do the roll call because you love Joey options and we all love him here. So if you don't know what roll call is,
and if you voted no, don't put your name in.
Exactly. Maybe there were bots that did it.
Exactly.
Make sure you subscribe because it's a subs-only chat. That's the first thing you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do is give a big shout-out to the entire team, whether it's Fabian, Ramin, Andre, my man Sean on the ones and twos, Brendo on the midday. We got Joey options and Sharif. Give also monster shout-out to Adara, who will be back tomorrow. It takes two of us to do the watch list when she is gone. We can't do it without her. We can't do it without you, the viewers. But get in there in the chat and say, what up to No Pie Joey. Of course, I just saw it and I read it for some roll call.
So are we ready for roll call? Do I have it on here? I don't have the animation there, Neil. You hit that, and I'm ready to go on the roll call.
We have a roll call animation.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Come on! Where have you been? Time for some roll call.
Nobody told me.
All right, guys. First and foremost, I have to start with my main man, Gorev. What's going on, Gorev? And then we got to go Mike P. DeRider, other Zinc. Who else do we got? Northwest Canopy Development. We got Buffalo Soldier. We like that one.
Red
my
Light
boy,
Rasta.
Stevenson, ATN. I know you're going to pass that challenge soon, my guy. We got that. We got Danny Dollars. Who else do we got? Bright Awakening, Exelbiz. And who else? We got G-Talk, John Fitz, T-Man, Wannabe Trader. I think you're a real trader because you've been in the chat quite some some often there, my friend. Fave SP. We got T-Man. Who else do we got? We got Dream Rider, Edwin, Neil's in the chat, C-Day, and one more. Save, Man, Woman, Peace, and my good friend, Havana Woody. We're always talking on X. Shout out to those guys. And that is Roll Call.
And that is Joe, the man, the myth, the legend, back from Chicago with all the energy in the world.
I made it somehow.
Let's be real for a second. You see this energy that Joe has right now?
I don't know how.
He didn't have that this morning in the pre-market. This dude in the pre-market was like, oh my goodness, he was half asleep.
I was struggling in the morning, brother. I was struggling.
He was hurting this morning. I had to call you out on that, but the energy came through like it always does because we try to put on the best show for you every single day.
It's everyone on the other side of the screen that makes me have this energy.
Exactly. And we're going to get it again tomorrow. Why? Because the market's open tomorrow, and that's what we do around here at Trader TV Live. This has been the Market Recap Show brought to you by Beta Pro, and we'll see you in the morning for Walmart earnings, everybody. Rest up.
See you guys later. See you, Havana Woody.